Hi, and welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings with me, your host, Lawrence, a punk with toys. You guys know who I am. The chat is already going, which is awesome to see because this is what I've always wanted to see. Jump in when the chat's going. I see people are already watching. This is great. It seems like I'm starting to get Monday locked down as my day. So quickly, I want to mention I was messing around with the chat. If you guys are seeing it there, and I put the poll in there. It's kind of crazy because I can't see it on StreamYard. So if I look here on YouTube, which is on my other screen, I can see G.I. Joe's at 50%, but I can't read everything. So good job, YouTube. And I also can't see it on my mobile devices. So let me know if you guys can actually vote. I mean, obviously I can see some of you guys can vote. Tell me if you can vote on your mobile apps or if you have to be on the computer, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose. I'm trying to do a poll. I can hardly see it. So again, something else I guess we have to figure out. Maybe it has to do with using Firefox. Who knows? It's always something else, it seems. So anyway, let's get into the show because, as you know, we always seem to have a fairly big show going on. Even when I think it's not going to be that busy, it definitely is. So I need to get this off because I don't need to see myself on this many damn screens. Get rid of the YouTube over here. So anyway, I didn't get anything this week, so it is a no week pickup, which is good. But I do have a nice Destro on the way. So once I get that Mesco Destro in, we'll definitely be pushing that thing out there. Doing a review on that because I can't wait to get that in hand. I've seen a couple already. But definitely want to compare it to the classified one. See if the heads swap, because it has like 3 different heads, and I definitely want to get some change it up if possible. I've seen some people kind of mess around with it, and so let's hope for that. Again, it's great to see the chat going here. I did have a couple things that I wanted to quickly go over. Like I said, no pickups. Hope everyone is doing well. Let's quickly say hi to the chat since we're a few minutes into it. Ray Paz was in early, so nice to see you. PNC said that he's here early in case he forgot. We have Cobb Webber Collector. Wonderful to see you. Matthew Matson here, who says he is now in Carson's book, so he's more famous than the rest of us, I guess. And he is the moderator, as I mentioned before. What he says goes. Him and I think pretty evenly, but we haven't had any issues. Not really. Super Tisso is in the house. Thanos Copter, if you haven't followed this guy on Instagram, you need to, especially for Fisto Fridays. It's just really entertaining. And then we have Tony Romo, Anthony Romo in the house. Okay, my son's going to take a shower if you guys are interested. David R is in the house. I'm not getting the joke, Payne's Toy Samples in the house. Check him out. Digital Diary of one of the channel members. Thank you very much. And I got some pictures. A picture that he sent over, so we'll be going over that. Aaron Burgess is in the house. Cobra Commander. Viper Scout. So many. Hey, listen. Big Bacon. So many people. It's wonderful to see. Let's just get into the show. Let's start talking about some stuff because, hey, that's what you guys came for, right? So anyway, quickly here. As I mentioned before, I got some merch out. Working on some other stuff. Woodman just jumped in. And, of course, my nemesis, Bees Battleground. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes you're kind of talking to yourself and you're like, am I really just talking? Is anyone listening? So anyway, If you guys are interested in some of the merch, here we go. I'm going to throw this over here. It is at the bottom of all the videos. But anyway, I did get some new stuff out there. I've been working on some other stuff. I'm waiting to get a picture so I can kind of change a few things, but it is definitely appreciated if you want to help support the channel. I got this shirt up there, bags, hats, and then we'll get into this here. We have a dog with toys. You guys have seen it. But I do have my first model, and that is the one and the only Tony Romo with his exclusive Roman with toys. It is what he wanted. So Tony with his sunglasses in the house, and you know what they say about people that wear sunglasses in the house. They're either blind or the douchebags. I mean, Tony's not blind. I love you, Tony. And then here is his Superman pose. And yes, if you pick up any, if you do pick up any merchandise, you want to send me a picture, you will be placed in here. Check out Tony_Figs on Instagram. Does a lot of customs. Wonderful guy. I really do enjoy it. And the fact that him and I can sit there and BS back and forth, it makes me happy. So anyway, if you guys aren't interested, everything does help. And I'm going to be putting up more merchandise, more graphics, more tees, different things like that. And again, you can get it on hats and all kinds of stuff. Also, I do want to mention the memberships. As you know, I did put out an exclusive video for the $2.99 membership. I forget exactly what it's called. But pretty much it's just the behind the scenes of how I make the videos. I know Allison, she commented on it. And it's just to show, like, I know there's a lot of people that want to start creating content. And again, if you watch enough content creators that maybe discuss creating content, it's really all about just doing it the first time. But a lot of times it's hard to get on screen and you wonder how you're going to do it. And again, you see my videos, my review videos. They're pretty basic. I don't go overboard. That's just who I am, and you guys have seemed to enjoy it. You guys get, in my opinion, a real feel for it. So I did put out a video from this angle, how I do the videos, my intros, how I do the actual review, and then how I do the the exit part. So again, if you guys are interested, take a look at it. Again, you got to be a member. So I'm going to try and put out content like that. So I don't want people just thinking that, hey, you know what? Yes. So content creating is like sex. I guess so. But even I think you can only do that on Patreon. I don't even know if you can do that. I know you can do it on OnlyFans. I don't have my OnlyFans up yet. And Mr. Wonderful has joined the chat. Mr. Wonderful, you and I are going to talk a little bit more. Go check him out on Instagram. It is The Wonderful on Instagram. He has a Kickstarter that I believe is going to be starting very soon. So I think it's something a lot of people are going to be really interested in. Check out Hella Dope Toys. They did a video last night. They talked about it. I haven't been able to catch the beginning of it, but he sent me over some videos or some pictures of it. Again, I think it's something you guys are really going to enjoy if you display your figures. If you are a inbox collector, it won't even matter to you. And then Eternian Eclipse is in the house. Yeah. So anyway, again, what I mentioned, the channel memberships is a 99-cent membership. Just helps support the channel. $2.99. I'll be putting out other videos, different things like that. One day I'd like to get a Discord. Again, I mentioned, if anyone knows how to create a private Discord, I racked my brain one day and I never went back to it. Shoot me an email and we can figure something out because It stresses me out, and I was just absolutely done with it. So a couple other things. As I go in a lot of chats, and I mentioned before, listen, you go in people's chats, you don't talk about your stream. Eventually, people will start to bring up you, maybe your videos, and I think we do a really good job here. And that's how you get to know people. There's a lot of content creators in different chats. But one thing I do have to mention, if you listen to me long enough, if you chat with me long enough or see me in the chat, I will eventually offend you some way and somehow. It's nothing personal. I have a morbid sense of humor, like so many others. I think a lot of people have a morbid sense of humor, but are scared to actually show it. Unfortunately, I'm not. People that have been on my Instagram, yes, Matthew, I know you mentioned you hate Discord with a passion. So Matthew will not be helping me set one up when we eventually get one, but he'll be there. We know he will, right? So anyway, if you see me in a chat and I make a comment, just know, listen, it's in jest. Especially like this. If I make a comment about Michael J. Fox and his shakiness, the guy did a whole movie talking about it. The guy makes comments about himself. And listen, it's nothing personal against people. I have a sixth sense of humor. So anyway, that's about it right with that. I did just want to mention that. Now quickly, this is something a little different. I think Matthew and I will have to talk about it when we do Punks on Film. Again, if you haven't been watching that, so much fun. Really is. Not a lot of people watching, but I see a lot of people on the replay watching it. We talked about a movie, but I watched D&D. If you have Paramount Plus, it is free right now. And it's actually a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought that thing was going to be an absolute awful shitfest, kind of like the Snake Eyes movie, but it was a lot of fun. And again, I didn't play D&D, so I can't compare it, though I watched some videos where people seem to really like it. But anyway, check it out. I think it's a lot of fun, and you will see some of the original characters possibly in it from the cartoon, which I thought was actually pretty cool. All right. So, quickly, I mentioned last week that I was dog sitting for my old dog, my ex's dog. So it's my old dog. And you guys have seen Roman. You guys have kind of figured out he knows when he's on film. He likes being the center of attention. I got to, you know what? Hold on. I had to turn this thing off. Because unfortunately, now I got this big glare on my head. Looks like no matter what, I have a big glare on my head. So anyway, I mentioned Roman. I was watching my old dog, and you see how he is. Well, some people that are on my personal Instagram, and I may have posted it on this one. This was the little Bichon Shih Tzu sitting on my lap, and there's Roman pouting like he always does. But the next pic is just you look at that, and you just know that this dog is like, you know what, little dog? Shit's about to go down when he leaves. Oh, guess what? He just got up, too. He just got up, and now he's like, oh, you know what? So anyway, I like to share Roman. You guys seem to really enjoy Roman here. So quickly here, I want to say hi to Outback Stew. I love having Outback in the house. Listen, I didn't even realize what Outback Stew meant at first. I realized, oh, that's his name. Ray Perry, I watched the D&D movie. I think they should not have cast some of those big names. They can't were lame. The only thing that was lame in many ways, in my opinion, was that they didn't even try and fake accents like olden times, especially Chris Pine. But I think he did a wonderful job. Again, I was really happy with it. But again, I don't have anything to go back to. I want to watch the movie right now. It's for sale for $25. Again, if you haven't get Paramount Plus for free. or for $5 or $6, whatever it is, for 1 month, and then dump it. Again, it's a lot of fun. It really is. And again, Paramount Plus, get it with ads. You watch like 2 or 3 minutes of ads right at the beginning, and then gone. They show the whole show without it. D&D was great. Too bad it did so poorly. Probably won't get a sequel. It got really good. It got really good ratings and reviews. I haven't even checked to see what it is at the box office, but the box office sucks nowadays. You know, no one seems to. And BMW Rhino is in the house. He also ordered some merchandise, so thank you very much. It is definitely appreciated. And Ronin Jim, a great toy lines. Let's not forget about masks. Okay, so I want to mention something. I threw out that poll there on the community tab, and you guys just have to understand, YouTube only allows you to put in five options. So unfortunately, I picked out what I feel is the 4 biggest, and then put other. And this by no means is this to fight over what is the best. I just want to discuss, the toy lines of the 80s and what we think were the best, why we like them. Because even though I thought G.I. Joe would win because of the crowd that seems to tune in, I didn't believe it would be such a slam dunk. All right, let's get into the news. And we'll break into MOTU really quick. Thanks to Geek Dad Life, they kind of posted some of the stuff. But anyway, so you have they have announced 3 new figures that will be coming, and I'm not going to act like I know anything about this. I like MOTU. By the time a lot of these figures maybe were created, I would have been long gone and long out of it. Big Bacon, believe me, they would have been put on there, and you'll probably see a still from them. Listen, you're jumping ahead right now. You're gonna have to stick around. Like I said, I only have 5 options, and that poll that I put up that I can't see, so I don't know how it's doing. I can only put 4 options. So you can only have 4 people, 4 options. So anyway, MOTU here. We got this Vicron, we got this Origin Fangor, and Origin Lady Slither coming. So it looks like this Vicron is going to be the first one, and it looks like it's going to be a major deluxe. It looks like it's set for June 6th. It will go up for pre-order. Now, I was watching Geek Dead Life, and they were talking about it, and it's kind of weird because they talk like June 1st or the end of the month will be the official. It'll be the official announcement, although they've already announced it. And I think it's because you have so many leaks. Maybe you want people to stop saying that the line is dead. It's hard to say. But this Vicron, he's going to come with a whole bunch of different things. I don't really know much about the character, but if you are in a Masterverse, this is when you're going to want to be looking for this, because it is going to be a Mattel Creations exclusive. And if it's anything like the Evil Lynn, the Goddess one, it's going to be sitting up there. That thing was up there for quite some time. I think it finally sold out. The next is Fangor. He's going to go up on Mattel Creations in August, which is the guy with the fangs. That's pretty easy. And I think it looks pretty cool. It's going to be an Origins. I'll keep it here. I wasn't sure. I really didn't put too many pictures in here. Matter of fact, I only put those 2. But I think this it just goes along with the Snake Man. I do think the Snake Man are pretty cool, even though I didn't order King Hiss, which seems kind of crazy when you think eventually I'm going to have to get him, because you kind of have to have a leader of your Snake Men. But I think this looks pretty cool. I really do hope that they go to the sleeves like they did for Sunman and Camel Con. We're paying a little bit of extra. Give us something just like the 4 Horsemen do with the Mythic Legions. You have the ability to do it. It does look like the next one here, who is Lady Slither. She's supposed to come out in September. She's going to have a from what they were saying on Geek Dead Life, she's going to separate. So you'll have a snake body. Hopefully this will do for people that want Globulus, whatever it is, that stupid Cobra Law. Here, this is what you can have. Create a Globulus out of this. Hasbro, don't give us that in classified because Cobra Law was stupid. But she's going to also have other, it sounds like other legs. So I think it's pretty cool. I'm definitely interested in picking this up. Let's see here. Painting says, I'm busy painting Naga Hide customs. So busy painting, not talking. It's okay. Just keep watching. Make sure you hit that like button, everyone. It definitely does help out. We are, I think we are becoming that toy channel that toy show for Mondays. And again, it's not me, it's all of us. Because I can't do this without you guys. Let's be honest. So hit that like button. Tell everyone. If you're in the group chats, again, I'm seeing more and more people, more and more names, people that we see on other shows. So it's great. I love it. Again, I enjoy my Mondays, even though usually I'm sluggish. This day was it's no different. Super sluggish today, but hey, you know what? Once the stream kicks in, I am ready to go. So anyway, and then it looks like some of these had popped up. I forget where I grabbed this from. I want to say it was Toy Arc. Maybe it's Toy News Eye. So anyway, it looks like from the box art, you get the stretch neck, the High Priest Pythonus, which I think looks really cool. And again, you have this Vipar, Raptilax. Yeah, and these are actually pretty cool. So, where is Cobra here? Throw a fit. Well, you know what? I'd say we ousted him, but we don't have enough people that just oust just because. And Thanos is carving foam and listening. He is already preparing for Fisto Friday, I am sure. Again, I sent it over. Just so you know, Thanos, Saturday, I was chatting with Tony Romo, and I'm like, dude, you need to check out his Instagram. So I sent it over to you, and he just started laughing when he saw the Fisto Friday. So, let's see. I wasn't a fan of Globulus either, personally. So you're not staying alone, man. I think it's split 50-50. I really do. I'm just not a fan of that. All right. So I had to put this in here. Allison, this one is for you. Super 7 has done a Mr. Cheeseburger. And I saw this and I couldn't help but laugh, thinking, holy shit, Mr. Cheeseburger has gotten a figure before the rest of us. This is the weirdest. So, it's kind of part of their, they have their worst line. Now they have the weirdest line. But this made me laugh. Because you see something like this. And now, if you, I'm sorry, every single one of you, when you see Mr. Cheeseburger, this is what you're going to think he looks like. Just like Chaz the Guru. Every time I see Chaz and him and I chat back and forth, I think he looks like that little guy in his little pictures. That's it. I had to throw this in here. All right, so get some McFarlane stuff. Now, I don't really care about this Flash, but I couldn't help but look at this and think how many times I have run into the house, running towards that bathroom, knowing that I have seconds before I pull a brown cow. And this is probably exactly how I look. And probably every single one of you has done the exact same thing. This guy is squeezing his buttocks and moving as quickly as he probably can, which he's probably slowed down a lot because we've all been there. But I looked at this, and this looks like a guy that has to take a shit so bad, and he is just trying to make it to the bathroom. So I just had to throw this picture in. I really didn't care about anything about this figure other than that. So that is the reason why it's here. It is specifically here for that. And Million Dog says, I'm sorry, Mono Dog. I'm getting that right. Flash has the poop trots. Like, yes, exactly. Like, we all know the person. We've all done it. We've all seen people doing it. So I'm tempted just to pick up this figure just for that. Oh man. So anyway, that was it with that. That's the reason why that's in here. I did throw the background. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Hey, listen. You all need it eventually, right? So this Batgirl just looks really good. No matter what you think of McFarlane, Matthew, I'm not sure if this is the one you're talking about, or if the previous Flash Poop Tarts figure you're looking at. But Prairie Dogging. But this figure looks really good. Allison, I know that you like to collect female figures. I hope you're gonna put this one in. It just really looks good. Even with the, you can see the pins in it and everything. But even though it's not the actual Batman TV show female, it's not her face, though McFarlane would have screwed it up anyway. I just think this looks really good. And I can definitely see myself picking it up. Not to mention, if Batman ever walked into the Batcave and saw a Batgirl like this, sitting there against the Bat, it would be on, all right? Robin would probably come in and end up having to cover his eyes and be scarred for life after what he'd probably end up seeing going on. Yes, Yvonne Craig. Yeah, I agree. Like, unfortunately, they won't give the rights. I don't know why. But this figure looks awesome. Allison says, since they can't do the likeness rights, this is a perfect Batgirl as perfect as Batgirl 6016. I agree. But it just looks really good. And, okay, first off, two people. Frostbite. It looks like the toy version of Art Germ cover. I'd have to look that up, but I'm going to take your word for it. Frostbite, check out his stuff. I want to mention Frostbite did an interview with, oh my God, I can't think of, is it Kirk Bazinga? You know who I'm talking about. G.I. Joe guy. Along with a couple other guys on his channel. Frostbite, I'm going to allow you, I don't do this very often. You can drop a link to your chat or a link to that video in here. They're all Australian guys, and I have to say, I thought their interview with him was awesome. Because to get an idea, again, I'm off track already, but hey, that's what you guys came for. But their interview with him is wonderful. And Kirk, you know what? I'm not even trying to say the name. Bazingian, there it is. Matthew, if you have a link to his channel, then throw it in there. Here, okay. Rodney said we did it with. Okay, listen. Drop a link to that video. I normally don't let people. I don't want people coming in and dropping links to their stuff. I thought you guys did a wonderful job. I want you guys to check it out. It is. To me, it is wonderful to hear people do not only a good interview with someone, but to get the idea from Australians and how they saw everything over there when they were growing up. It's a completely different look than what we got. Because again, there was no internet. So we were seeing the stuff that we got, but to hear their point of view and what they have to say, it's really good. So check it out. And then Gregory, listen, because of this guy, I have a whole bunch of giant classified vehicles. I have to say thank you. Always say thank you. He says these Retro 66 have shit articulation. But hey, so does all the McFarlane. But they are worse. But they're smaller too, a little bit cheaper. Anyway. And sorry to Kirk for me completely slaughtering his last name. But yeah, drop a link to the video. Honestly, it's awesome. You guys did a wonderful job, and I was more than happy to spend the hour of my time listening to it. So you got some more McFarlane stuff, and I'm really on the fence about this Batman. So for me, Nightfall in the comics meant so much to me, and this is the Nightfall Batman. I would really like to have a 6-inch scale now. I mean, I don't know. They may have made one before already. But I'd like to have Nightfall Batman. I like this costume, the colors that he has on him. But it also takes me back to that time. I literally just sold all these comics last year. The whole series, Nightfall, Night Quest, Night. I don't know. There's so many nights. There was 3 different. But I really do like this. Again, no trigger. This is a figure that should not have any trigger fingers, so I'm absolutely fine with that. You have his punching fingers, his punching hands, and then you have his batarang, and then you have, this was an actual comic cover where he's fighting the Scarecrow. Here's how he looks in the back. Right, I mean, listen, it's McFarlane. You're never going to get perfect. That's why they're $20. So I do get it. He actually gave a pair of alternate. Yeah. Well, Batman does punch a lot of people in that. But I mean, this is a picture of the back here. And this was an actual cover. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little light, but yeah. I'll tell you what. It looks. I mean, from the pictures, it looks like it is a cloth cape. I'm sure, once you get it right in hand. Yeah. And then I kind of agree, but like this takes me back to, I really like the comic at this time. So I wanted to throw this in here. Here's this Two-Face Batman. I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of cool, I guess, but it's one of those things where, all right, it's another Batman. Uncle Todd, we get it. You like Batman. Why it would be completely like this, who knows? But again, he does these weird figures. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. There's no reason to pick it up. But it's going to be $22 or whatever it is. I know his prices went up a little bit, I believe. Because I know it was sitting at what? At $20. So I think they started to go up. And then here's the back of it. He's obviously beating up Batman. I find that hard to believe. He's not allowed to beat up Batman, not Two-Face. That is the Two-Face Batman. Again, it's McFarlane. I mean, I don't know. It may have been part of the. It may have been part of the comic. Who knows? I mean, he's always doing these weird things. Super Tisso says, "Oh yeah, is this when Dick was Batman starting out?" No. So in Nightfall, okay, there's Night Quest, Nightfall, and God, Nightfall is when Bane figures out who Batman is and breaks his back. During that, he hands over the mantle to Azrael, and that's where you get that armored Batman. In the end, Bruce comes back, takes back the mantle because Azrael is just a psycho son of a bitch, and he's crazy. It just creates more animosity. It creates more animosity. between Batman and Dick Grayson, but he does come back and he basically says, "Why didn't you ask me to be Batman?" I mean, the guy's been waiting his whole life to become Batman. He said he'd already become, Nightwing. You went on to do your own thing. I didn't want to bother you. He hands over the mantle, for a short bit to Nightwing. So Dick Grayson is Batman for a while, and it is one of those things that the one I remember is when he's first wearing it. He meets up with Commissioner Gordon. He calls him out that he's not either one of the other two. He knows that he's not Bruce Wayne, and he obviously knows he's not Azrael or John Paul LaValle. I'm sorry, Triple H. Because he's a couple inches shorter. But I actually like it because when I think of Batman, there's only two people I think should ever be Batman. Bruce Wayne, and if he's not going to be Batman, think about it, three people. Bruce Wayne, if he's not Batman, it should be Dick Grayson. It was always supposed to be his. And then Terry McGinnis. But that is Batman Beyond, which I think is an amazing, amazing cartoon. I talked too much about Nightfall. And then we have this one. Not a big fan of this at all. But hey, this is the Batwing. What I did like about it is it gives you a lot of different options with these flame effects for his jets. So he has, flame effects that come from his feet, which I think is pretty cool. And he has the wings that, open up. Same as the Batman Beyond. Well, some of them. The one I have doesn't have it. And in the back here, you have his jetpack. But then you have a second one with the flame effect. So I think it actually looks really cool. This was, I completely forgot his name. Batwing. It is Lucius Fox's son. Now, I don't know why I even know that, but it is Lucius Fox's son. So hold on. Ray Paz says that Two-Face is from when after Batman died in Morris Run, Batman ripped Battle for the Cow, I think. Oh, okay. Listen, it is hard to follow along. Anytime I don't read comics anymore, I haven't read in many, many, many years. But every time that you hear like, hey, so and so is going to be Batman, or they're changing Batman, he actually becomes Batman, I believe, in an alternate universe. Because when they said they were changing when they were changing Batman to be black, people were up in arms. But then you find out that it's not on the main Earth, or I don't know. It's so hard to find out. They always want to change things, and certain things should never ever be changed. And Bruce Wayne is Batman. As it's been told before, Batman doesn't see his alter ego as Batman. Batman sees his alter ego as Bruce Wayne. And that's why you can never change really, who it is. If Dick Grayson is Batman, he's still Dick Grayson. But Bruce Wayne sees himself as Batman first. I had to draft one of those stars of the horrific Batwoman shows. Okay. I think I watched a couple episodes. No, I know. I watched the first season. That was not very good. It was not very good. And Jeremy Kimberlin. I love Dick Grayson, by far the best. I think he's not the best Robin, but he's my favorite person of the Robins. Tim Drake is my favorite Robin. But Dick Grayson, of all the characters that have ever played Robin, is my favorite. So let's get out of this because we've talked enough about McFarlane. Allison says here, Bruce Wayne becomes public domain in a couple years. Expect changes in Batman regularly to keep Batman able to be trademarked. Ditto Superman and Wonder Woman. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Thanks a lot for ruining my night, Allison. Thanks a lot, Allison. All right. So we get through this here. This is the back cover. This is like this, the other two are really cool. The one is an iconic comic cover. The other one is a cover, a picture of that weird two-faced Batman, and then this is a really really lame back cover. All right, so let's get to Street Fighter here. Now there was a time that all my friends played Super Street Fighter. Super Street Fighter 2, I think it was. Street Fighter 2. I don't know. And they were at the arcade. I was never a Street Fighter person. I was never good at those types of games. Button smashers, as my son calls them. But I know enough about it. And I know that these look awesome. And I have to say, this Chun-Li has really, really, really made me want to get in on this line. But I am saying no, you have your funds going elsewhere. I'm gonna do my best. Gonna do my best to not get into this, but this Chun-Li looks absolutely awesome. It's way easier when you know what's coming. Yeah, I guess so. That's what I've been told. When girls say, you just can't put it there, you have to say something. Listen. Well, this looks awesome. $25. And this is now the third, I do believe, of the Street Fighter figure. So here you have the other two there. I mean, obviously done in an iPhone, which we know has a wonderful camera. So they're blurred out. I don't really want the other two figures. Although you definitely will need a Ken and Ryu when it comes down to it. But the Chun-Li, she was always my favorite. Not to mention, Chun-Li was played by Lana Lang in that awful movie that I never saw. And I just thought Lana Lang from Smallville was beautiful. I still think she's beautiful. Listen. Wasn't this Chun-Li in G.I. Joe? Seems like she could go on with your classified show. Let me say something quickly. The interview that I just talked about, that Frostbite and all of them did, Kirk specifically talks about wanting to tie into a video game. And yes, they did Street Fighter and they did Mortal Kombat. So oddly enough that you bring that up. And listen, Allison, I'm going to tell you something. I already have an enabler. His name is Matthew. And he's already an enabler. I don't need another one in my life enabling me to buy more toys. I do love the effects here. Where you have her, supersonic kick or whatever it is. They obviously give you the stand so she's not going to fall over. Although, if you look over here, I've mentioned so many times about people whining and crying how they can't stand their figures. And I still have Deadpool standing here in the crane, in this crane technique, this crane kick, all by himself. Hasn't got knocked over once yet. No stand. So once again, people, learn how to stand your figures better. Back to the stream. And hey, while we're at it, 44 people watching, hit that like button if you haven't already. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like the channel is really coming to a point where people are tuning in that this is the Monday Night Toy Show, and I love it. It's made me happy. I know there's other things for people to watch, like Monday Night Raw. The fact that Jeremy Kimberlin was already in makes me wonder. I mean, right now we know Travis isn't going to show up, right? He's watching it somewhere. He already told me he's going to be late, like right after Monday Night Raw shows up. Alice, if we have 75 likes, Lawrence will add Chun-Li to his classified shelf. If we get 75 likes, I will go and order it right away. But the fact that I think we've only gotten over 75 likes once, but listen, Also, if you guys send me enough super chats for $25, I will go ahead and order it. So there's that too. All right, I will put that money to good use. And then you have this picture, and again, she just looks like a total badass. And hey, Allison, I'll say this right now: if she does scale well with the classified, she would fit in perfectly with the Arashikage ninja clan, and I can guarantee you, she could already kick the crap out of Quick Kick. She could kick the crap out of Quick Kick. There is no doubt about that at all. We're going through the news pretty damn quickly. Now, I mentioned before, I always worry. Let's take this off really quick. Hey, listen, I'm a shameless shill. There is no doubt about it. And thank you to Payne's Toy Samples, Jada Toy Funds donation. Thank you. I do appreciate it, and I'm not joking. I will definitely order that. From Hella Dope Toys at that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to Hella Dope Toys, and I will order it. Not even from my own place. Listen, since we mentioned Hella Dope Toys, if you guys haven't checked out Hella Dope Toys, do it. Again, small company, a couple guys. You can check them out on YouTube. I enjoy what they're doing. I like seeing it. Somebody would really miss this to watch Monday Night Raw. Listen, back in the day, hell yeah, I would have in a heartbeat. Matthew, thank you. Chun-Li, you need this. Well, I guess that's how we do it, right? Greg says she looks too beefy to be with the Joes. Has anyone really seen how she compares, or any of them? I mean, I don't know. These figures look really good. I'm not going to lie about it. These figures look really, really good. I just hope they do scale with all the 6-inch figures as well as possible, because they're nice looking figures. There's no doubt about that at all. So anyway, we'll get back to the stream here, and here comes. All right. Ray Paz here, super sticker. Thank you very much. I have not got a super sticker. This is the first super sticker. Thank you. I don't understand what they are, but I definitely appreciate it. 50 people watching. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining. As we're kind of scrolling through, listen, I gotta say this. I mentioned this before. You guys put pressure on me to constantly come up with new stuff to talk about on Monday. I feel like I'm giving you guys a lot of what you guys enjoy, and I'm happy. It's good pressure, so keep it going, because I plan on having this around for quite some time. Let's see. And another one thing. Thank you, Eternian Eclipse, $5. Get that Chun-Li. Smallville Lana was Kristen Crook. Yes. And she is not the one that got people to join a sex cult. That was the one that was in love with Clark. I've watched that stuff. Chloe. I've watched that. That thing was crazy. We should get into that one day. Let's see here. Giraffe says, is that a custom Prince Caldor behind you? So this, all right. We got time, right? Remove this. Yeah, so this was, if I have it, I have the other one. All right, so I took, oh yeah. Oh, no, not go mistake, guys. So we got He Skeletor, but I really wanted him to have Keldor's head here. But unfortunately, the colors don't match completely. But since I had an extra Atom, I kind of messed around. I don't have a white shirt, but I figured, hey, you know what? The guy has muscles. He's just going to show it all off. So yeah, this is kind of like the Prince Keldor, and then I have the He Skeletor. So good eye back there. That's why I like having things back there. All right, guys. Thank you very much. BMW Rhino, thank you very much. It looks like someone's probably going to be ordering the Chun-Li very shortly. And I appreciate it. I definitely will appreciate it. As an Allison, I disavow the action of Allison Mack. May she enjoy prison. She's out of prison, actually, I believe. And I do feel bad for you with that name. I do. And then Giraffe for the Thunder Thighs, Chun-Li for the win. Thank you, guys. Honestly, listen, I don't get a lot of super chats. I definitely appreciate it. It all goes, everything goes back into the funds. And obviously, you guys will be getting a Chun-Li review as soon as it comes. And it's only on pre-order. So, again, thank all of you guys. Yes, Payne, yes, you are enabling me. Yes, Matthew is the worst, just so you know that. We're going to get to some enabling in a little bit off him. As I'm really interested to see how these Jada toys are. I don't even know if any of them are out yet. The other two didn't really do it for me. Ryu was I think it was Ryu. Excuse me. I'm going to add this to the stream really quick here. This is Ryu, I believe, right? Who's the shirtless dude that is obviously Bruce Lee? Because I always think of Ken and Ryu. So here's Ryu. I know Ken's not out yet because Ken was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me? Listen, that Street Fighter movie was a complete mess. Payne says, Fei Long. Okay. All right, so listen. This is what you guys come for, right? And Matthew says that, yeah, Ryu and Ken belong in the Arashikage dojo. There's so many ninjas right now, I don't know what to do with. But I agree with you. Like, if they Guile. Wait, okay. Guile. Oh, I'm sorry, Greg. Greg knows. Yeah, so John goes Guile. All right. So Ken, you know what? Told you I wasn't a big Street Fighter fan. But I love the figures. And now I'm probably going to end up buying more of them. Thank you, guys. You guys are the biggest enablers. But yes, I do appreciate it. All the super chats. Thank you very much. It'll all go to a good plastic fund. There is no doubt about that. Allison quickly says it's really hard to hate anything that Jean-Claude and that sweet Jean-Claude cake in the back. Jean-Claude. He's done some pretty awful movies, but usually pretty awful in a good way. Eventually, we're gonna have to get to some Jean-Claude Van Damme movies on Punks with Toys. All right, let's add this to the stream. All right, so I did catch the live stream with Ace from Ramen Toys. He really didn't show anything. He talked about a lot. I was getting the bikes out for the summer, pumping up the tires, and I was just listening to it. So the Red Gullwing, here's the packaging for it. I think this thing looks wonderful. If you like Mask, and you have $175 and then the shipping, whatever. I mean, it's expensive. It's not cheap. But I think this thing looks absolutely wonderful. I know I've gone over it before, kind of showing off what you're going to get, but I think it looks awesome. I really do. And here's a look at it. If you flip it open, I guess if you want to be, I think an inbox collector for something like this is really odd, considering it is a knockoff. So to be an inbox collector of something that is a knockoff, an expensive knockoff, would be kind of weird. Like, I think I'd want to open this up, at least for me. I know I would want to open up. And the Camaro is really nice. Again, growing up where I grew up, Camaros were awesome, because you could either be a burnout or an Italian or Chaldean, and they kind of just mixed and matched all together. So, and then Frostbite here. Thank you very much. Thanks for your kind words about our channel, bro. It means a lot. Listen, I've mentioned this before when I've talked about other ones. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Listen, I want to say this. These guys here, you think us in the U.S. are getting screwed with G.I. Joes? Man, they don't have anything. Like, they don't even have like the movie figures. And they're like 8 hours from China. So why Australia isn't getting it, who knows? But yeah, if it wasn't, holy shit. I do say, Mr. Wonderful, thank you. We're gonna get to you in a second. I've lost my train of thought here. Quickly, yeah, Gregory 83. So burnout, right? Mr. Wonderful, thank you so much. Go get you some stuff, my man. Thank you very much. Listen, I do mean it. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more. I definitely want to. I want to get with you and talk about your Kickstarter, because I think it is a really, really good idea for collectors. It's not really how I display a lot of my figures, because I put a lot of mine in action pose, like dynamic poses. But my daughter has all these. She collects all these Funko Pops, and she's always kind of complaining. And again, go check them out. If you haven't found them, hit me up on Instagram. I'll send you a link. You and I are going to talk about it. We're going to do something. I think your idea is absolutely wonderful. I really do. So thank you very much, though. That was very generous, very kind of you. Right now, I feel like the 3 POA when they just have stuff like rolling in. I feel very, very, very honored right now, guys. That's all I can do. Yes, I will be getting it from Hella Dope Toys. I have not ordered from them yet. I talk to them all the time. When you order so much stuff, it is one of those things where, sometimes you have to go with the best deal. But I think these guys are wonderful, and that's why I continue to mention them. I don't get paid to mention them, but I want you guys to head over there and order some stuff. So anyway, we are way off topic, but that's fine. That's fine, guys. Because you know what? I enjoy this, and I think you guys enjoy it too. Again, 43 people watching right now. I think we already hit 50. Yes. You have enabled me. Yes. You guys are bad. Are really, really, really bad. You guys are bad. You guys are bad. But again, with help like what you guys just did, it doesn't hurt as much. As a matter of fact, it doesn't hurt at all. So, so let's get into what Matthew has enabled me. And that is this NECA display. And I have to say, I did want this before, and then it was gone, and then it came back, and I'm like, man, it's $115. You can get on BBTS. You can get on Entertainment Earth. If you use my code, a punk. Actually, you'd have to use ee.toys/a punk. That helps. It helps with the revenue for the stream, for the channel in general, because they get some commission. But if you wait till it's in stock, and this is something I don't care if you go, if you want this, I don't care if you go to BBTS or if you go to Entertainment Earth. Again, if you can, order, through through Entertainment Earth. These things do not stay, and I think Matthew said he has one. There was another guy. I apologize if you're in the stream right now. He said he had like 3 of them. I'm like, man, you're nuts. He's like, I didn't order them all at once. But again, this thing is really nice. It's plastic. It's not just cardboard, but it is expensive. But this is going to be great for your displays. If you're going to do pictures, obviously when I'm doing reviews, it'll be really nice for all my thumbnails that I do. But you have a night sky, and then you have the light sky, the daytime. So I think it's awesome. Now it's meant for 7-inch figures. It's NECA, but again, I don't think it's really going to. I don't think it's really going to matter. I think 6-inch figures will work perfectly fine, or else people probably would have complained. Mr. Wonderful here, I got to see what he says here. That Alice and Max stuff happened here in northern New York. Really? That stuff's nuts, dude. And then, I watched so much of it because I really like Smallville. And then you're just like, I have to watch more about this. But the way that, they were, supporting him, and not so much Allison, because she backed off. Because that's what she wanted. But that one from Battlestar Galactica, who I would have never guessed. From Battlestar Galactica, I think she still supports him. She was married to the Cylon. A couple were married to Cylons. Absolutely crazy. So Super says, I said no to the NECA display. I remember exactly why too. It's the backdrop installation. It sucks. Really? Huh. All right. Well, I will. I guess I'll be finding out when I eventually get it, when it comes out. You need to go out, buddy? All right. Hold on. Let me get Roman taken care of, and I'll be right back. Let me just hide myself. Oh, I didn't need to hide me. All right, and I am back. You guys know how Roman is. In, out, in, out, in, out. This is when it starts. Marry the Cylons. Sorry, I know I spoiled the Battlestar Galactica from. God, that show is what, 15 years old now. I loved Battlestar Galactica. I didn't really care for the ending. It wasn't awful. I mean, I've seen worse endings. And so B says, but I love my display. It looks really nice. And again, it's not just a flat backdrop. As you can see in this next picture, it's angled. So hopefully it turns out really nice. Matthew is already trying to enable me to get other things. So when you look in the windows, I guess you can see through it, see what's back there. So you can't break me, Matthew. I agree. The ending was predictable. That series was so good, especially for what was considered a remake. They took one of the main characters, Starbuck, and I mean, they turned her female. They made it a female, but it was such a strong character, and I'm not talking like big, muscular. It was just a strong character that nobody cared. It was like, all right, cool. I can see why she's tough. Thanos says the first ending to BSG was better depressing, but better. Do you mean the original one from the 70s? I don't even remember. I remember having some of the toys, but I don't remember how that ended. Something I guess I have to eventually go back. I'll tell you, that is a line that I would love to see. A Battlestar Galactica line of the new figures, maybe mixed in with some of the old figures, you know? So, anyway. All right, so let's get into some of this stuff. She was already up for pre-order. This is Angela. So this is basically the Demona Buck, a different face. Now this is their kid. This is Goliath and Demona's kid, Angela. I'm showing this because NECA has been pushing her really, really hard on Instagram, which probably means she's about to come. Ooh, did I just say that? That's what she said. I need a soundboard. When I get a soundboard, oh man, you guys will be in for it. Because I'll just be doing like drops all over. And since you're talking to yourself, you don't know if it's going to drive people nuts. But I really do like this figure. I see this, and if you're a Guar fan, I see this, I hear cracking the egg. That's all that I hear, man. Cracking the egg. I'm imagining Odorous singing it, and Gorgor coming out. Rest in peace, Odorous. Drugs are bad, don't do them. But yeah. Well, look. I didn't know Kelly from BSG was in a sex club. I didn't either. Like, you don't even realize it's her. You gotta watch the documentaries. What is it? Like next, I don't know. It's weird. Like, you can't miss it. All you gotta do is look up Allison Mack, and then you'll find it. But there's documentaries on it. Yeah, she's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, it was, yeah, absolutely crazy when it all comes out. Drugs are bad. Okay. Yeah, you guys brought me down the rabbit hole. Good job, Jeff. Jeffrey Smith knows it. Listen, if I could pull up stuff and we could go on a Battlestar Galactica and start reminiscing about it, I loved the show. I did. I loved it, man. Let's get back to some of this. We can talk about this at the end. Let's be honest. So here she is in all her glory. It doesn't look like she comes with any types of weapons or anything. 3 sets of hands, an alternate face, the same as Demona. But then we have a baby Angela, which is just so cute. And then you have the crack in the egg. Again, if you know Guar, right now you're seeing crack in the egg. Then you're going to start seeing Gorgor, and you're going to want to go see, Guar fight Gorgor. Maybe Techno Destructo. Okay. Then we get to Lexington. And boom, this is a little guy. And yes, he is the same price, which is going to be $38 or $40, or for some odd reason, BBTS says $43, I believe. So I don't know why all of a sudden the NECA stuff on BBTS is more expensive. They used to be cheaper, but all of a sudden they're paying, they're charging more on BBTS. So I was really, really under the assumption from what they had kind of insinuated that these smaller figures were going to come with the draped wings. It should either be on the Sci-Fi channel. You can stream on the Sci-Fi channel, or on not Paramount Plus, the NBC one, the one that you can get Peacock, because Peacock, I believe, owns it. So those are the two that you can get it. And since since the writers are on strike, you have lots of time to watch back stuff. So I was under the assumption that all these figures, like the smaller figures, were going to have draped wings, so they could justify the cost. Unfortunately, he does not. But what is nice is that his wings clearly have either pleather. Who knows? They're not leather. They're going to be pleather. They're maneuverable, which is perfectly fine by me. I've heard people already kind of complain that it doesn't completely touch everywhere, but These are toys. All right. I also can see the pins in his joints. So I'm not going to complain too much. But he does have this wonderful, wonderful crossbow. So he and, was it Duban from Mythic Legions are definitely going to have to go on some adventures together. Because they both have crossbows. But I think he looks really awesome. He is much smaller than the other ones. And maybe they're saying that the wings are, cost a little bit more to do that. But hey, you know what? I don't know. When you start seeing the price of these figures nowadays, I still think $38 or $40 for this figure is not a bad price at all. I think it's actually pretty good for the NECA stuff. They do a wonderful job. And I think NECA has really clamped down on what people consider was horrible plastic before. So it's glad to see. I love these figures. They're big. They're heavy. He's a smaller one, so yeah. But when you start looking at Goliath and Hudson and all them, you're getting a good amount of money for it. And quickly, I want to say hi to John from Sergeant Reds. This is my pretty much my go-to toy store in Michigan here. If you're ever in Michigan, you need to check them out. Really good guys. Really personal. Knows my daughter. Shoots the shit with her. So anything when you meet someone and owns a store or anything like that, and they get to know you and your kids and everything, you just got to give them props. And again, a really wonderful store. So check it out. Utica, Michigan, not Shelby. Cobra Law has joined. You missed me insulting Cobra Law. But you can go back and watch that later on. What's up, everyone? Just stop by to say hello. Currently watching JW Chapter 4 with the wife. What the hell is JW? Well, am I missing something? John Wick? Oh, John Wick. Okay. Is that too much to? Did that teach you how to write John Wick out in with the Himalayas? Nice to see you, Ted. Again, Hella Dope Toys. Again, another online store. This is the other one that definitely will hear me promoting, and I'll be coming here real soon for you if you haven't been watching yet. And Ostradamus has joined. If you haven't watched him, Saturday nights, he goes on for about twice as long as I do. Although now he's making you go behind the paywall. So he didn't go that long, which meant I got to go to sleep a little bit earlier. But anyway, back to my ramblings of this actual figure. They got all these guys jumping in here. Road Pig John here jumped in quickly. What do you think about the Toy Galaxy video in general? Do you think he's always accurate in his videos? I don't know. I mean, he does his research. So I personally, I really, really, really like Secret Galaxy now. Toy Galaxy is what it is. But he changed over Secret Galaxy because he's not only doing toys, but I think he does a wonderful job. He's talked about how he, a lot of people come up to him and ask him about something. He's like, listen, I crammed for like a week to do those videos, and then it's boom, push that stuff out of my mind and move on to the next one, because that is actually his job now. So he doesn't have like a second job. Him and the guy that I believe that he does it, and that's like their job. I really like it. Is it always accurate? I'm not sure if everything is accurate. I don't think he makes things up, if that's what you're asking. I think there's a lot of people that might get something wrong when doing their research, but I truly do believe that he does his research, and he may get things wrong, but we all get things wrong at times. But yeah, I don't think that he's one of those people that just like, want me to say it again? He's not Mike Zero, all right? He's not Viper Island, all right? and I think he's absolutely hilarious. And I will mention this again. If you've never watched the debate on Geek Dead Life between Toy Galaxy and I forget who the other guy was, but it was a debate for the Rancor or the Sky Striker, and it's absolutely hilarious because he shows up in full flight gear. Yeah, go check it out, and then when you're done, go watch the debate between Mikey Frenchie and the Guru, because I want everyone else to feel as awkward as I did when I watched it. And I will continue to push that one. He puts in the work. I do. I love his videos because it's 20 minutes of learning about something, and then you're kind of like him. You can just push it out. And also, as I have to say, when you friended me on Facebook the other day, I had to look because you looked so different in your profile picture. I was like, who the hell is this? As soon as I clicked on your link, I was like, oh, this is Oz. That's happened a few times. This happened a few times that people have done that. Mr. Wonderful was one of them, actually. So anyway, wow, there's a lot to talk about with Lexington. He's just kind of sitting here like, dude, we're going to get back to me anytime soon? So again, I mentioned before, I think NECA does a masterful job posing and doing toy photography. They are the best for everything that they put on there. And it makes you want, like, hey, why don't you sell me these props? You would make so much money just like you are on that alleyway display that you're doing. And I guess I put that in twice. So quickly here, Allison says, Guru versus French is like when your gross uncle on your mom's side of the fam and your gross aunt on your dad's side of the side make out during Thanksgiving dinner. It may have been worse. Listen, if you have not seen, I will push this to the end of time. All right, I've looked at how many views they have, and I must have pushed 1,000 of those views because I made people watch it. Tony was one of them. Tony Romo. Like, Geek Dad Life, if you have not seen the debate between Scott the Guru and Michael French, you need to go watch it. Not only because it's just awful, and not because of anything Geek Dad Life did, but to watch their faces. And then you have to watch the after show with a Toy Anxiety. It is. Oh man. Yes, this is Matthew Masson had posted this pic. So again, there just happen to be people and companies that do not like each other. And these two companies, I can't even say these two companies. Valaverse clearly does not like it does not like Gridiron. I don't know if Gridiron doesn't like him. Probably doesn't because of the things he says. So Matthew had actually posted this picture side by side. I had mentioned that these two ghillie suits, I think the Valaverse one, what I'm seeing here, it looks like a Christmas decoration that you looked at in Target and you went, oh my God, I bet that would work as a ghillie suit. It doesn't look realistic. But now this is just from the pictures. Maybe completely different when you get it in hand. I do look at this other one here from Gridiron Studios, and it looks way more realistic. I think the gun looks better, to be honest, the sniper. And again, when it comes to like a lot of the Valaverse, their big suits make it really, really, really hard to maneuver things. So this gun, if it's too big, it's just not going to work properly. In my opinion. But again, when I looked at the two of these, and again, maybe when we get it in hand and we see this, it's going to look better. I hope it does. But right now I look at it and it looks like a Christmas. It looks like a Christmas decoration that we're like, oh my God, look at that wreath right there. Ghillie suit. And then I look at the Gridiron one, I'm like, God, this looks really, really good. But we're also paying, two different prices. I think the ghillie suit is $35 from Gridiron, And I believe you're going to get a ghillie suit and a figure for under that from Valiverse. So it's all, what you like. Black Knight, thank you. Again, another hella dope toy here. Him and Ted, both they own hella dope toys. Check it out. You guys will be getting an order from me really soon. Thanks to everyone in the chat who donated all these super chats. I appreciate it. So yeah, you'll be getting an order from me really soon. And you can thank everyone in the chat for all the super chats that are going to lead to that. And all their enabling, all right? All right, so Gridiron here. If you created a BA Baracus using the Mr. T-Buck from the WWE, WWF, they gave you the A-Team gun. Now, I want a whole A-Team team. I kind of hope, not that I think that it is, I would love for this other property that Bobby Vallett to have would be the A-Team, because they would be affordable figures that you'd be able to get the whole A-Team team for, under $150 probably. So, but if you made one, Greg, if you made a BA Baracus, he's making the whole team. You have to order this, right? You have to order the A-Team Mini 14. Like, you got to have it. As a matter of fact, looking at this picture of Hannibal up here, where he has the stock, I believe that is the only time they actually use the stock. They never have it any other time. Ray Paz here says, I'm going on the cheap, so Valiverse, if Gridiron brings down that price, I would order from them instead. It's not going on the cheap. I mean, listen, it is not going on the cheap when it comes to Gridiron. They are expensive. I've mentioned this before. I think that if they brought their prices down, they would sell more. But they seem to be doing pretty well. People are ordering from them. I've ordered a few things. Gregory, I know, has ordered a bunch of stuff, which I'll probably be doing some reviews, right? If he's nice enough to, lend them to me to do it, which he has been. So I understand. I mean, I think that there's other ways, but people support them. They do a really good product, but Valiverse is a better value. There's no doubt about that. And let's not forget, Analog Toys even said that elastic straps for the Valis suits are going to deteriorate with time. Advantage Gridiron. Yes, one of the few times that I have heard Analog Toys be, I don't want to say critical of something on Action Force, but being objective and pointing something out. All right, we're bringing out one more time here. Roadpig says, the Toy Guru and Michael French debate was good just to expose how little knowledge Michael have about the toy industry. His actual experience is a lifelong toy collector. Yes. Listen, just after this or tomorrow, you may not want to sit up till 12 o'clock before you go and watch it. It is such an awesome video. So anyway, there's another shot of it. I think this looks awesome. You can say what you want about Gridiron, expensive. I say it. Their products look really nice. And this black and white shot looks awesome. And of course, then you're going, well, how do I get myself an 18 van? And here's another shot in color. So again, these things just look really good. They do a really good job. Again, expensive though. And then here's all that you get with it. I believe this is $14 or $15 for the gun set. I really think they should do a four pack for a little bit cheaper, because again, if you're customizing all 4 figures, you have to have this gun. This gun is everything when it comes to the 18. And this is what everything was built on. Why would the Valis strap deteriorate with time? Just cheap plastic material. Because elastic straps they tend to start to deteriorate and tend to break. Anyone that's had like elastic straps. But again, it's one of those things where are you buying this so in 20 years down the road you can be like, oh, I still have this, I want to sell it for a profit? Or are you buying it so you can go out and do toy photography, or you want to set it on your display? I don't buy my toys looking at it going, okay, well, how is this going to be 20 years from now? Okay, I'm lucky enough that I have all that G.I. Joe stuff from my childhood that is still sitting there. Now, I don't know if you guys know, I have my childhood aircraft carrier, USS Flag, with 8 shipwrecks. I don't know if I ever told you the story. But just the fact that any of those toys are still around, they were not meant to be around 40 years later. They really weren't. And you hear all the toy tubers, they talk about it. And, you know, they weren't meant to. Now, the toys now, they're obviously making them so, yeah, these things should be around a little bit longer. But listen, I don't care, man. In 20 years, you know, whatever's still around is great. I know I can fix it myself in 20 years. Listen, I'll be happy if I can fix myself in 20 years. All right. When I'm 67 up here, still doing this, with 450 people in the chat, you know, and more people enabling my plastic crack. Thank you once again, everyone, for all the super chats to help me get the Chun-Li. And I was not begging. I mean, that's not what I was looking for, but thank you. All right, so let's get into G.I. Joe. So as we know, some people have started to get the scrap irons. Some people have gone to eBay, ordered them. Other people that just live in other countries just get them because, well, you know, a real American hero doesn't really mean anything here. But here's the layout of everything that you're going to get with scrap iron. I got to say, $45. I know we're conditioned now to think that that's a good deal. So, and I really do think it's a good deal for everything that you're getting with this. Let's see, paint. It sounds like you need 20. Well, you know what? You're the one that does it. So, you ask, and I will be more than happy to see if I have a if I have a free Friday. I'm single. I'm free every Friday. Shameless. Yes, I'm shameless. I'm not gonna lie. Shameless plug. All right, it was shameless. It was shameless. Thank you again. I listen. You guys. Again, without you guys, this show doesn't happen. I love everything that people do. I want to grow this, and I think we're doing a wonderful job. So, again, I feel like I say thank you so much, and I hope it doesn't bother everyone. I know some people think that's just, you know, obviously the shameless plug, but I really do mean it. You know what? I think it's going to happen soon. I mean, everyone already has it. Well, everyone but the U.S. Even Canada doesn't even have them yet. So anyway, here's everything they get with this. I do think this is a wonderful deal, to be honest, for what we know. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Adam is let's see. In Australia, you guys are watching the Lakers get eliminated. Is it just starting? It should be just starting, right? Because they're in LA. That's early for you guys too. I hope they get eliminated too. So here he is with the scar. I do think he looks better with the mask on, where you can still see the scar. And the scar is very pink. I kind of wish it was maybe dulled down a little bit, but I'm not going to complain about it. It looks really nice that he just has this scarred up face. So I will be really happy when you get this in hand to do a review on this. This here looks kind of weird. He kind of looks like he's wearing a mouthpiece. and that's why I say kind of with the mask on, he tends to look better. Again, this is just a picture, so I can't, I can't completely confirm and say how he's going to look when he's, when I have him in hand. Again, I think Falcon doesn't look as bad as those first pictures. Although he does not look good, he still is their worst face sculpt that they have done. But when you put the helmet and the mask on, like, I can't believe I'm going to say this. You can see the cartoon. Like, you can see the cartoon. But I do love that over here you can see the scarring on his face. It's sticking out enough where, you're like, all right, well, there's all the scars. I think it looks really good. And they've done, for the most part, I think they've done a wonderful job with the face sculpts. So, and here's how everything comes packaged. Is there a name for this thing? I don't know. I don't know if there's a name for his missile, but again, this thing is meant. I mean, if they don't start producing pack rats, where they already have the base for a couple of them, I don't understand what they would actually be doing. Machine Man, I don't know what you're trying to say, but there should be a B in between this. You mean HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the greatest professional wrestler of all time? Or is that Hong Kong? I'm not reading. I'm not really reading. It's Kane. It's Kane. He does look like Kane, to be honest. He does look like Kane. But remember, Kane killed his family in a fire. Although he was burnt, that's why he didn't wear the mask. It's he does look like Kane. It definitely has a Kane vibe to it. Here's everything that comes with all the blast effects, the missiles, different things like that. The Sega Game Gear, the pistol, which I seen a picture of the pistol. It actually looks pretty cool, to be honest. All right, so I threw this one in here because this picture is now going around to show the issues with the paint. Now, I'm a little confused on this, and the reason why I say that, hold on, let's see here. Greg says I'm actually 3D printing a pack rat, and then it says so you will have one soon. I'm gonna have to do another video soon about how much space the classified vehicles take up because I'm running out of more space. Yet I can't say no because I have a problem. So back to this. So a bunch of people had posted pictures of Torpedo that got him. Now, most of them seem to have his mask on. So I was kind of surprised when I saw this, and you can see the paint all around the face here. And here again, it looks awful. And it goes back to like, oh crap, are we back to the are we back to having issues? Though there was two people. I can't. One is a woman. I forget what her name is. If anyone, she's on Instagram. She has wonderful, wonderful pictures. She got both Copperhead and Torpedo in. She didn't mention anything, but she did talk about how the plastic feels better. And so when I saw this, I thought that was kind of odd. Why would you mention how the plastic feels better, but you don't mention the paint? Now, this isn't her picture. This was just one that went out. And then someone else had also gotten it too. And they said that the plastic seems better. Here it is. Leanne. So Anthony, she does not follow me, so she doesn't know about the channel. If she followed me, she would know. So today, Digital Diarrhea, again, channel member, thank you very much. And he ordered one. He got one off of eBay, he said. And so he sent me the picture, and I asked him, I said, how does the paint look? And he goes, hold on, let me take the mask off. And he pulls it off, and he says, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm looking at this, and I literally had to add this to my, add this to the stream here. added to the PowerPoint right before the show started. No issues. I mean, it looks really good. Where this one here looks awful. And again, I'm not saying that it's not possible. That maybe it's coming out of two factories, or maybe it was one of the days. Maybe it's Friday at 5 o'clock, and the 12-year-old is just tired and he doesn't want to paint them anymore. But it just seemed odd, like how sloppy this paint is. And then this was sent to me by Digital Diarrhea, and his looks really, really good. Quickly here, Ray Paz says, he said, smeared a smudge paint app. The paint app around the face looks sloppy. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But this is a different picture from someone else. So it's kind of odd that one, and I mean, this other one here, it's not kind of sloppy. I mean, it looks like a Dollar Tree toys. But this one over here, I mean, it looks good. So I ain't really worried. But then he says to me, this is really what's going to set you off. Just be honest. It's just awesome. You hear someone say, this is really going to set you off. And that is the warped weapons. Now, I can only mention so many times. Excuse me. And I have an issue with this. And I mentioned this before. Now, is this the biggest deal in the world? We know how to fix these. We know how to straighten them. But some of these weapons that are coming are super soft. And to me, this is, again, I'll say it again, it's unacceptable. If I'm going to call out Gridiron, and I'm going to call out, something, that happens with the Action Force, or I'm going to call it doesn't matter who it is. We should not have weapons. We should not be expecting something bad. Hold on, buddy. Because, it's like I shouldn't have to fix these all the time. If it was a one-off, but it seems like every single figure, there's something that I have to fix with, and it's minor stuff. But it is an issue. Do you want to say hi? Okay, hold on. Yes. All right, hold on. Come on, say hi. All right. Oh, I know. But you already went out, okay? All right. Then you go to that door over there. There's a door. There's one over. All right. It's right past the steps. Okay. And it's right on the left-hand side. Yeah. Go bar it, and he pulls it up. All right. If any of you don't know Roman, this is Roman. And he wants to go in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And what it does is it drives my son absolutely nuts. So I'm going to do really quick. I'm going to hit pause. I got to run to the restroom myself, and I'm going to have him let out. So give me 1 second. You guys chat along and do what you guys do when I'm not here for like a half hour because I have to go pick up my. All right, and I'm back. Listen, it's hard to believe, but when I started doing this at the end of November, that is the first time that I've had to take a potty break. Although I did leave you guys for I did leave you guys for a half hour last week, right? So I could run and grab my son. So I figured run into the restroom for 2 minutes. Would be the worst thing in the world. But I want to mention about last week because Brick Something actually made a comment about it on one of their streams about how this guy leaves us for like a half hour to go pick up his son. I came back and there was actually like 32, 33 people in the stream. So I have to say thank you all for sticking around last week. I'm hoping that won't happen too often. Rhino, hopefully you should get it pretty quickly. I know Tony's came really quick with the shirt, but you ordered the hat too, so it may take maybe a little bit longer. I don't know how long it takes them to produce the hats. Yes, Oscar Thomas, yes. Hit that like for Roman. The more likes I get, the adds a minute onto Roman having to hold his pee. He's not even going to pee. He's going to go out there, and then he's going to come back in. He's going to come up here, and then he's going to make my son mad again. I don't have my daughter here. My daughter's here. She's easy to deal with. She doesn't get that mad about it. But when I'm done at midnight and I go out there, he'll run out there for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, listen, come on, guys. Get in here. Some of us need to go back to bed or go to bed. Anyway. And let's see. Pop. I'm sorry here. Pop actor. G.I. Joe is leading the polls. Where's the MOTU love? Okay, can someone tell me? Because I can't see what the poll is. Very disappointing. Very annoying, I have to say. Very annoying that I can't see the poll. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. I kind of want to get an idea of how well it works. And I really did not expect, again, the G.I. Joe just to completely crush the... we're going to have a discussion in a short bit if we ever get... Like, here we are, hour and 42, and here I'm like, oh, do I have enough to talk about for 3 hours? Hey, I like MOTU, but believe me, I'm putting it in the beginning when I talk about it because it just does not get as much. It doesn't get as much love as you would think that it would see. Let's see. I have to do a screen and have a YouTube app. Listen, I have do a screen. Do a screen. I got a tablet so I can watch what's going on. But I can't see it. Like when I pulled it up, I can only see like the top. I don't know, it's really weird. I never tried doing a poll before, so I don't know why it looked like that. I gotta mess with it a little bit more. I gotta figure out why it's doing what it's doing. It's aggravating. So anyway, back to my bitch about this, and we all should have the same bitch here, is that this is not how these things should be. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't be. It doesn't make any sense. They're using softer plastic, and I have mentioned before that there's something that I heard Bobby Ballard talking about, and how he said, one of the issues with Hasbro when it comes to Marvel Legends and Black Series and Classified is that they're for 3 and up, like where the Valaverse and Mythic Legions, McFarlane, you get the idea. They're adult collectors, 14 and up, so they're able to use harder plastics. NECA, same way, and that's why some of this stuff is really hard. But to me, it's kind of like Hasbro, man. Like if you need to raise it, it's fine. Like put it in the collectors, because let's see, G.I. Joe is not for kids right now. There is not a kids line out there. It is adult collectors. So I think this needs to be resolved. I have such an issue with it. And again, yeah, I can fix it, but I shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to constantly fix this. Now, if one of the issues that they're going to say is, oh, thank you, Matthew. Okay, so yeah, looking at this, G.I. Joe is crushing everything. But, man, I don't see this. Like, Matthew just sent me a screenshot of the poll. I don't see that. Like, it's really weird how mine looks. I don't know why, but it's bugging me. I've never tried doing it. But anyway, back to this. We shouldn't have to do this, and I shouldn't have to continue to talk about it. Although it gives me a talking point every Monday night, right? All right. So now let's get to this. And yes, we're getting more. I really do like this. We're getting these more cryptic updates on the Hazlab, and I like what they're doing. It's neat. It's a good idea. Ricardo fell. He's literally like hang on me, dude fell. Oh yeah. Deadpool sitting there in his crane technique. Anyway, I like what they're doing. It gives us this really. It's a neat idea. It's kind of like getting home and running up to find out what the Tang message is from Christmas Story. So anyway, incoming transmission. This is one of his top secret. Remember, whatever. I can't say the word. Comes from Hawk, G.I. Joe High Command. All right, so begin transmission from General Hawk. Says, Commanders, our recent meeting at Hazlab offices was a rousing success. Unfortunately, their collaborations with Mars Industries to develop a fleet of armored high-speed sentries is too far along to halt completely at this stage. Once presented with irrefutable evidence of the terrorist activities sponsored by Cobra, Hazlab agreed to work in tandem with G.I. Joe weapons developers to mass produce a Joe vehicle with significant counter-strike capabilities. I will need your full authorization to move forward with these plans. The Joe team will need some new recruits as well. Let's put out a call. We want the best and brightest to join the operation. My full report with recommendations should be ready early June. So, there's a few things that need to be unpacked here. So, clearly we're getting another Hazlab, and this will be a G.I. Joe Hazlab. It has eliminated being an O-ring, so there won't be 1/18 scale. And I think that was pretty much understood. This kind of makes me laugh. Like, confirmed Hasbro supplies both sides. Sometimes it sounds kind of like a U.S. government sometimes does, right? Hold on. Oz says, just opened my Fiona figure this weekend, and she is gorgeous. Craftmaster, all right, too. You have that G.I. Joe bug, don't you, huh? Dude, listen. When Bobby Valla is giving the G.I. Joe team the credit for everything on that croc on Fiona, you know that they did a pretty good job. They really did I think they did a wonderful job on that and on Timber. I think those two, they're wonderful. I mean, they did a great job. So back to this here. So this is really unpacking a lot. I think the biggest thing, and I mentioned this, and I even sent Lenny, because again, if you chat with Lenny, I can't speak for anyone else. I've chatted with Lenny on Instagram, and if you're polite to him and you just talk to him, he's real nice. He'll go back and forth with you. He won't give you any trade secrets or anything. But I did mention to him, I said, hey, I hope if you have a classified, if you have another Hazlab coming, Star Wars has already announced that theirs is coming at San Diego Comic-Con. If this comes out too late in June, because it sounds like it's going to be coming out in June, it's going to cross streams with the Star Wars Hazlab. And that might cause some problems. The Hiss did so wonderful that you have to look at it and be like, you don't want to screw that. You don't want to screw that momentum. You want to keep it going. Again, you are going full force with this. So I have a feeling that this is going to come out early June and should finish right before San Diego Comic-Con, which I believe is July 19th and 20th, something like that. So you can get your full 45 days in right before the Star Wars one kicks in. Just enough time, because we also know that the Marvel team is coming with one also. I would assume that one would come closer to probably November, but it's kind of crazy, like that they're going to give us all this, and hopefully they'll learn the lesson by not doing 3 at the exact same time, like they did with the Sky Striker, the Rancor, and the Proton Pack. And I mentioned before, I think the Proton Pack, that is a whole different category of people. Different category of people that were buying that. Those are cosplayers, and I don't think a lot of the Ghostbusters people cross over with G.I. Joe, Marvel, and Star Wars. But Star Wars and G.I. Joe definitely cross over. There is no doubt about it. And then here is this. And so they give you this 24. I did not crack this. So the first person that I saw crack this was Mr. Popinski on Instagram. So he is the one that is, yes, I know. Matthew, as I was saying it, I knew what I was saying. I knew what I was saying. So I did a video before the hiss was announced that I thought that it was going to be a dragonfly. I thought that those taint treads were the helicopter blades. I was wrong. But that video is still up there, and so I threw it back up there. But this 24 really does highlight that it probably is a dragonfly. Now, some people don't think so. I don't really know what else you could be looking at. And I'll show you what. So this was what Mr. Popinski posted on Instagram. If you're not following him, there it is right there. Mr. _Popinski. The little 24 here. There's so much talk about the dragonfly. The guy that said that, hey, you know what? I designed it for him. It's not coming out. Here's what the design was going to be. Who knows? Who knows what their idea was? But when we talked last week, I believe it was when we talked about the different Hazlabs that we could be, and we knew it was going to be a G.I. Joe one. You know, I can't think of anything that really. You know what? Congrats to you. Yes. Give me a Jack Bauer. But you know what? I want a Jack Bauer that yells. Like, I want to push a button, and I want it to yell. Because Jack Bauer yelled an awful, awful lot. And let me tell you what. I just patted myself on the back that was the first bathroom break that I've taken since I started the show in November. I don't think Jack Bauer has ever taken a bathroom break in all the 24 hours that he was running around. 24 is the price plus 2 zeros after it. I don't think it's going to be that much. But again, there's so much talk. But when we were talking about it, I couldn't really think of anything that is a classic design that would really be modular. Because the one thing that we know is that the Joe fans, not all of them, they want the classic look. They don't want things updated. It's too bad. All right. They complained about Wave 1. They whined and cried about it. Don't get me wrong. The gold I could live without. And same with the laser weapons. But it was nice they were trying to update it. When they went to the classic designs, which I do like, it obviously took off even more. You look back at the Hiss tank when they showed it, people didn't like the different designs. They gave you a classic looking one, or you can adjust it. So I don't really know how you do a vamp. Again, I think a vamp is too small to be a Hazlab. Again, the Mobat is it holds one figure, and you would have to change way, way too much. You'd have to change way too much and alter it so it could hold figures. This really quick. So there's just so many things. Now, I think the Dragonfly, in all honesty, is perfect because when you really look at the real world attack helicopter, you can have modular weaponry. So you can have the classic looking 3 missiles on either wing, but now you have a secondary tier that you're going to throw on 2 miniguns or maybe 1 minigun, and instead of those round missiles that hold like 12 or 16, 20 missiles, whatever it is. Again, I think that is awesome. Clearly, in my opinion, I think the tiers, airborne has to be included. I mean, the first tier, in all honesty, it has to be. It would have to be Wild Bill. I think airborne, he's so synonymous with that. I personally think Doc would be an awesome one, but I also think, and that's because his stretcher is made to go on the Dragonfly, so he does become synonymous with that. I do think there might be an uproar because so many people want a Doc, and now you're taking a black figure, and there aren't a lot of black figures in G.I. Joe as it is, and now you're making it an exclusive. Now, don't get me wrong, I think we would eventually see all those figures. Now, one that Mr. Popinski actually said to me was, "Hey, what about Ripcord?" And to me, I see Ripcord as a Halo jumper, which really wouldn't jump out of a Dragonfly. But what if they decided? And I thought, oh, this would make sense. What if they did a Night Force Ripcord? They just did one for the Sky Striker, and clearly you're not Halo jumping out of an F-14 Tomcat. All right, and they have jumped onto the Night Force. So the other thing that I was thinking, I want to say hi to JLS Comics. Dragonfly is cool, but I can't help but think the Skyhawk since first appearance issue in 24. Oof, I don't think that. I don't know. And I have a 3D printed one. I don't think it's big enough for Hazlab because people want everything classic. That's where I think everything is killer. Like everyone wants everything just be classic. They want a classic looking one. The Dragonfly, in all honesty, it looks perfect. But to add different weapons, to change off the side cannon, so many different things. But the other thing that I thought is, and I'm not saying I would want this, but what if they decided to do the Tiger Force one? It is on the Recondo, right? It's on the Recondo box. What if they decided that they're going to go full-on Tiger Force? This way people won't complain that, oh, you know what, it's a must-have and you're putting it out in this. I don't think they would, but who knows? Because this has really been a hush-hush thing. It seems like everyone knows that when it comes to the Star Wars, it's probably going to be either the Ewok Village or the Ghost. Like it doesn't be a big secret. It seems like for when it comes to Marvel, I think it's going to be a Giant Man. I mean, I don't know. It seems like they're really hiding it, and they've done a really good job that no one really knows. Jay, I hope not. I think you're talking about. It's going to be the Armadillo for Hazlab tank first. No, Armadillo way too small. Way too small, in my opinion. Again, I don't want to say I don't know. So, way too small, in my opinion. A matter of fact, Greg, who prints all the 3D, he's actually printing one right now. I think an Armadillo is too small. The mini tank, as much as I like it, the name is mini tank. It is so much smaller than the Hiss. And again, when I try and give like my ideas and what I think it might be, a lot of it goes back to not just what I'm thinking, but I'm trying to think in what Hasbro thinks. And you know they want it to be a big hunk of plastic so they can say, hey, this is $300, this is $350. If it's a Dragonfly, I'm saying it's going to be $350, $400. It's going to hurt. I think it's going to be more than the Hiss tank. But people actually thought the Hiss tank was going to cost, they thought that was actually going to be more. And again, when you go to 3D print stuff, if you 3D printed stuff and you look at the prices, you realize exactly how much that stuff costs. It's expensive because you go through plastic, how many times you waste stuff. I mean, how Greg can go. I mean, I've done it, and I don't even print that much. And Greg's printed all kinds of stuff. How many times you waste stuff that fails. So when you get a price for $300, if they keep the Dragonfly, if it is Dragonfly, whatever the Hazlab is, if it's kept at $300, or at least in that range, I don't really want them to go up. I hate saying, oh, $350 would be fine, but $300 on a toy is expensive. But they've gotten more doing other things. Now, the question is, they don't have anyone else to pay. It's all profit. Not only is it profit for them because they're not paying royalties, it's going to sit in their account for, a year and a half before they actually have to deliver the product to us. So, I don't know. I think the writing's on the wall that it's a Dragonfly. I think the whole Hasbro team is now sitting back. They're laughing. We're watching all these toy tubers, all these Instagram accounts, people trying to, it's a Wolverine, it's a Snowcat. Like, they're laughing about it, And when it comes out, let's say it is a Dragonfly, we're all going to sit back and go, it was so obvious. Like, it was right there. They talked about it for the longest time. We even hinted at it. Maybe they leaked it so people would think that, hey, you know what? This is, hey, let's just give it to them. Let's just show it to them. I mean, it seems kind of crazy to think that they would think that far ahead, but maybe they did. Maybe they thought that far ahead, like, hey, you know what? We want you to leak this just to get an idea of what people think. And if people really like it, and they really want this, we're going to go with it and say, hey, it was all part of our master plan. And maybe they go, or they looked at it and they said, hey, you know what? People didn't want it. People weren't willing to pay it. But Chris Side-Eyes confirmed it this last weekend. I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with you. Anthony, I would back Thunder. I'm telling you, I think what they should do is they should do a vamp to counter the Hiss, but not as a Hazlab. They should drop a vamp to counter the Hazlab, the Hiss, but also they could put one out for cheaper or for the same price, whatever Bobby is going to do his truck for. But people would flock to a vamp because it is classic. And then move on and do the next Hazlab, make that the Thunder Machine. Because the Thunder Machine, again, you give us the base that looks like the Thunder Machine, but that thing is meant to be just having weapons thrown on it and customizing and all different types of things because that's all that thing actually was. Yeah. So I'm with you. I would much rather have that. But yeah, but again, I think when Ripcord was brought up to me by Mr. Popinski, then I thought, what if they did a Night Force Ripcord? They went with it. I would love to see Doc with it. But again, I think there would be an uproar that you took one of the main black figures and now you're putting him in, in this Hazlab. So now we have to buy the Hazlab to get it. And again, we probably get him eventually. And he's such a core character that you definitely want. And he's a character that just stands out the way he looks and everything. I want to say blue here. They should do a Sonic Apache where the pilot head goes through the cockpit canopy again. Okay. I see someone's talking about Viper Island. And see, Cobra Commander says, so what does Viper Island think it is? He has inside information. Well, let's be honest. I mean, he needs something to go with his Dr. Mindbender and Trouble Bubble Target exclusive to Canada where they don't have Targets. That's never going to get old. Jeffrey Smith says, Airborne, Ripcord, and Crazy Legs should come with Wild Bill. I really like Crazy Legs. The man is a dumb figure. It's like he's halo jumping with Ripcord, and Ripcord's like, awesome. This guy's gonna get shot well before I do. Not to mention, when we land, they're gonna end. If he makes it down there, they're gonna go after him. But I always liked Ripcord. I'm not gonna lie. I always liked Ripcord. To me, it actually works. Crazy Legs. I think it actually does work if you did those four. But again, I think, like, let's say the early bird special. If you can fund this in 8 hours again, we're going to give you this Night Ops or Night Force Ripcord. Never had one before. They're doing the whole Night Force. It actually would work, and you could do it in in a card or whatever. So, and then Entertainment Earth has dropped that on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Pacific time. So that is 1 p.m. normal people time. June 14th, there'll be a G.I. Joe drop. Now, they really don't give you very much. Hasbro G.I. Joe action figures, laser fire. There are boots on the ground. It must be Yo Joe June. That much we're sure of, but what are the figures? Set up a reminder to find out. My guess, just by looking at the boots on the ground, probably that 2-pack. Probably that 2-pack, to be honest. It is not going to be October Guard because of everything that is going on with Russia in the USSR right now. Yeah, I said USSR. I know USSR isn't real. I know it's long gone. My guess is it's going to be the 2-pack of the Steel Brigade. I don't care what you said. There's Steel Brigade. So that'll be June 14th. Again, Yojo June. And then here, hey, Jojo June, we are going to tell you. Are we going to tell you what it is? No, but you can speculate. Maybe it's Joe. Maybe it's Cobra. Could it be October Guard? Ain't telling. So again, it definitely makes people think that it's going to be that, but I definitely don't think it's going to be anything October Guard. Just because of everything that's going on, I would love to have October Guard. I really would. It just give you a different faction, and I think now we're far enough down in this line that we can start doing the third faction, the fourth faction, Iron Grenadiers. I mean, we can start doing stuff like that, where I think we could do it, but October Guard, I just don't see it coming. And not to mention, I want a Billy. I want a Billy. And honestly, Lenny laughed at me when I said Billy. Damn it, I want a Billy. We need Billy because he's Billy. So, but I would love the October Guard. I think it'd be awesome. Boots on the ground. Must be quick kick. If it would have said feet in the snow, then yeah. All right. So that's about it. I mean, there's only so much you can say. It says, what other international members are beside Big Ben other than October Guard? Well, Big Ben was, again, he's not. I understand what you're saying. I just think with the climate of how it is and how hold on. Sorry, my ex is texting me. Oh, okay. Well. All right. Don't need to worry about it. Nothing important. Okay. I'm lost. A little lost my train of thought here. Yeah, I just think with the climate, how Hasbro will not let them do a hooded Cobra Commander because some fucking moron that they are letting be the director of the G.I. Joe movie says he looks like the goddamn Ku Klux Klan. Again, so you think they're going to do anything with Russia? I don't think so. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling in general. I'm sorry. It fucking pisses me off. It's a fucking executioner. Cornelia Smith, love the show. Please keep the videos coming. Thank you very much. Listen, hey, join in or just watch. Hit the like button. All love. Listen, if I get super chats like this, I'll be doing this like fucking drop dead. No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, like the videos are going to continue every Monday night. You know where I'm going to be. A matter of fact, you know what I did? I'm probably going to miss when I go to Florida. I'm probably going to miss Monday night when I go to Florida, but I'm still thinking maybe I'll do a short stream. I did look and I saw Christmas is on a Monday. That Christmas on a Monday. And I'm like, man, am I going to have to miss a Monday? You guys might not know, I do not want to miss. I don't like missing these shows. Because you know what? The way you build your fan base, and I don't like calling people fans. You guys are friends, but it is a fan base. I don't know, there's no other way to really put it. You have to be consistent. I put Monday Night Toy Ramblings. It's right in the name. It's Monday. No one asks, hey, are you on Wednesday? No. Are you on Thursday? No. You may not remember the time, but you know that it's going to show up on Monday. So yeah, I want to be consistent. I don't know how I got off on this, but I happen to notice that Christmas is on Monday, so it's still some time away. But I'm just looking today. But yes, I will continue. I'm going to continue to do this. I enjoy doing it. Again, I sometimes ask myself, do I have enough to talk about for 3 hours? Here we are at 2 hours and 12 minutes, and we haven't even gotten to the topic at hand. Yeah, I'm allowed to take a week off. We'll still be here. You're right. But you know what? When you're starting off, you need to just boom, boom. I truly do believe it. And I do believe that it is one of the reasons why the show has done so well. Because it is consistent and people know to tune in, and it took off pretty quickly. So but you are right. I am allowed to take a day off. Yeah, that guy should not be directing any G.I. Joe movies. And listen, I don't know what he can direct, but you're right. He should not touch G.I. Joe. It is awful. He's made awful movies. You know what? I take that back. Okay. I don't think Retaliation was all that bad, but it also wasn't good or great. There were some good parts to it. Allison Troy says, what about the original Action Force 80 members from the British toy line? Those weren't part of the Valor Force. Those aren't part of what Valor Force is putting out. So I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually get to that. Now, the thing with Valorverse, with Bobby and what he owns the name to Valorverse. He does not own the rights to any of those characters. That's why the Steel Brigade, even though he bought the rights to the name, it has to look distinctly different than what, let's say, the Steel Corps look like. The Steel Corps, they look exactly like what we had in the 80s, but they can't use the name Steel Brigade. Wow, if only people could get along, it would be awesome. But it's not a bad idea. And maybe they're letting Super 7 kind of dictate and see, like, hey, you know what? Put out some of those reaction figures and see if there are some people that want to see it. So it's not a bad idea, and it adds more characters to it. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so let's see here. Uh, yeah, yeah. Valaforce, Alice. Thank you. So now it's Valaforce. All right, so we're just gonna call it Valaforce now. You need to go coin that. You need to go trademark that. Maybe we'll do a shirt Valaforce. Oh, I would get a cease and desist. If I did a Valaforce shirt and it looked like Action Force, ooh, I would get a cease and desist before that first shirt shipped. All right. I think I've rambled on enough. You guys listen for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Let's talk about the topic that I had. So I want to mention, when I did the poll, there was in YouTube, with YouTube, there's only options to put 5 different things. So that's why I put what I believe are the 4 biggest toy lines of the 80s. And then I just put other. Now, one that I really didn't think of till later is Lego. I was never a Lego fan. I never had Legos. My dad didn't like Legos. As a matter of fact, my grandmother would buy me, I don't really want to get a story, but my grandfather was paralyzed, so he was in this back room. He was in his bedroom, which was at the back of my grandmother's house. So to make sure we would go see him, she would almost always buy us toys and put them down there. And she would buy, if you remember these, lock blocks, which were much bigger than Lego, but they had characters and they were cheaper. So I didn't put Lego in there because I didn't have Lego. Legos were expensive back then. But Lego is one of the ones that we can definitely talk about. So when I did what was the best line, I wasn't really trying to like, hey, look at this, G.I. Joe's the best. It was just kind of a talking point. And I wanted to see how it would go. And so even though G.I. Joe smashed it, it really had nothing to do with trying to pick out who the best was. I was able to figure out that G.I. Joe with the people that are watching here, we're probably going to pick this. But so let's just start with Star Wars. Now, again, I think it's safe to say a lot of us, this was probably the first real toy line that we were playing with. I would say most of us are in our 40s right now. But these figures, again, 5 points of articulation, which is, I'm not going to put down 5 points of articulation for this time. For now, Super 7 wants to give us $20. Bullshit. So what we have here is really one of the greatest toy lines of all time. When you see one of these figures, when I see Hasbro now putting out under Kenner, the retro figures, like I want to grab them. I just want to buy them. They were just so much fun. They bring back so many memories. It's like you could just sit down and, you could just sit down and all of a sudden it's like you are 5 again. If you're looking at these, I want to say hi to Palpatine, another channel member. Amazing that he instantly shows up the moment I put Star Wars. That is not a coincidence. But yeah, and this here, again, without this, I don't think that we have so much of the G.I. Joe line that maybe we did. Although I'm going to go back to, Frostbite and Aaron and Lenny, like they did that stream with Kirk. He really talks about how the O-rings came about, and it really had nothing to do with Star Wars. It's actually again, check it out. It is a very, very interesting, watch for sure. Because again, he really gets into a lot of different things. But you look at these figures, and again, when you look back now at the weapons they have, like most of them do not look anything like the weapons that the figures came with. The Stormtrooper weapons don't really look like the blasters. Han Solo's kind of looks like it. The lightsabers were just either they protruded out of their hand or they were just one color piece of of plastic. I think Leia's gun was pretty close to it, but some of these, like, we never even seen guns like that. But again, like, if you see it, if someone dropped a stormtrooper blaster, you'd go like, oh, that goes to the stormtrooper. The snow trooper, that big long gun that, like I said, he could never point because he would just fall over. And had the extra handle, which really was a cool gun when you think about it. I wonder. I don't have one. I would love to get one and see if with the new G.I. Joe figures, because they have pliable thumbs, if you could actually get it so they're actually like holding that snowtrooper weapon. Again, I'm not going to go off on a rant or off on a tangent. But again, I think most of us, there's so many of us started with this. Tony says here, I did start with those beloved Star Wars figures. Again, if these were just coming out now, you'd be like, this is trash. Like, no articulation. But if someone walked up to you and they said, hey, you know what? Go play with these Star Wars figures. You could sit down and have hours and hours of fun. And again, this goes to a lot of what Articulated Chad talks about, why he hates the classified line, is there's no world building. There is a few specific toy lines that were world building. This was one of them. The Ewok Village. All the different vehicles that you could get. The different the Hoth battle scene, different things like that. So much world building. The Death Star, even though it looked nothing like a Death Star, we used to play with the elevator, and I had no idea that it was actually, and the trash compactor. My friends had it. I didn't even know what it was until years and years later that I was like, oh wow. But again, I think this is still one of the greatest lines of all time. Articulation is awful, but again, we had an imagination back then that took away that not realizing what these figures couldn't do. And here is what I feel is the greatest line of all time. I don't think that's a shock. There is the G.I. Joe O-rings. And I don't know if I've ever told the story, but I can remember exactly where I was when I first saw the first G.I. Joe. And I was sitting in front of my TV playing with my snow speeder and my snow speeder, my Star Wars figures, and I had my Tonto and Lone Ranger figures with the horses. I actually still have my Tonto and Lone Ranger, my original ones. And I saw this commercial, first G.I. Joe commercial, and I looked back and my dad was sitting there and I go, can I get one of those figures? And he was just like, well, we'll see. And I kind of went back to playing. Like, it was like the moment I saw that commercial, I was like in love. And then when I first got my first one, it obviously changed everything. Actually, I got two to begin with. That's a whole other story. But this line here, I really think it changed everything. The interview that they did with Kirk, he talked about the O-ring, and he said, Hasbro was ready to go under. They were literally talking like 2 weeks to being out of business. And they took some of the O-ring figures that they acquired from another company, I believe is what he was saying. Because if you remember, there was other O-ring companies, O-ring figures, like the Chips figures, the Dukes of Hazzard figures. And they put this military line together. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard the story, the thing with, the reason why Snake Eyes is all black was because they just wanted another figure, but they needed to keep tooling and cost down. So instead of painting them, they just did black plastic. The only reason why he's black. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me, but that's everything that I've ever heard. So again, hold on. Let me see if I can find it really quick here. So bear with me. I'm on YouTube here. So Frostbite and his buddies did a And they actually did not drop a link. I don't know why. I wanted them to. Finally tell people they drop a link. So give me 1 second here. But like this line here is, again, world building took to the next level. But they specifically talked to him about, you know, how they corrected the the straight arms, and he said it wasn't so much that. It wasn't so much that. It was that we only had so much time to do this, so this is what we did. Oh my gosh, I hate it. I can't find it. Come on, Frostbite, where the hell are you at? Does anyone? God, this is gonna drive me up. I hate this. Okay, so I'm gonna find this in 1 second here. It's riveting. See, if I had someone on with me, it'd be way different, because then you guys could just kind of, you know, listen and pay attention. There he is, Frostbite. Did you drop it? Okay, drop it again. All right, thank you. So Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro. I don't want to keep telling the story. I think it is a very, very, very compelling video. And again, it's from 4 guys in Australia asking questions and to get their point of view. But yes, so Frostbite, I'm sorry. Don't yell at me. But the fact that, you know, they started off with O-ring, they had the straight arm, and without the swivel arm battle grip, it definitely, if you didn't have swivel arm battle grip, you could look back at the Dukes of Hazzard figures and the Chips figures. They just weren't that good. It wasn't Battlestar Buck Rogers, I think. They also had it. But once you gave him the swivel arm battle grip, yeah, you still had the thumb issue. I still had the thumb. I still have my thumbs, but a lot of our O-rings do not have it. But they changed that, so now they gave them more articulation, and later on they gave them so you can move the necks up and down to a point. You know, let's be honest, you could only move them so much. I really wish they would have redone all the figures with the necks moving up and down. But this took world building to a whole new level. And I mean, you could just have bases. And again, you look at Hot Wheels cars and the world building that you had with Hot Wheels cars, and know that, hold on. I mean, we could world build that type of stuff like crazy, right? All right, so someone's dropping the damn video. All right. Copy. Now we get out of this. All right. Hold on. Sorry, guys. There we go. That's the video. Go check it out. Not right now, though. Wait till I'm done. All right. But anyway, this line I think really changed everything. It really did, in my opinion. Again, it's not shocking that I would pick this as my favorite toy line. But again, I don't think it's the only good or even great toy line. Then you have Transformers. Now, I had a bunch of Transformers. I think world building Transformers was a little bit more difficult. I think world building was a little bit more difficult. I want to say, Articulated Chad, thank you very much for the super chat. It's been a crazy super chat night. Thank you. G.I. Joe, that is all. I don't think it's a shocker to think that Chad's favorite was also G.I. Joe. But world building has a huge thing to do with that. You get to Transformers. The thing about these Transformers that are so much better than the stuff they're giving us now is that kids could actually transform them. The Michael Bay stuff that I bought for my son, I remember I got to a point when he was young and I was like, all right, he'd say, hey, can I, Ironhide is Bumblebee, right? He's like, can you transform him? I'm like, yeah, I'll transform him again next weekend, but I'm not changing them back because they were infuriating. 30 minutes, 60 minutes to transform a stupid figure. Here I have this Optimus Prime. How fast did he change that quickly? But when I looked at him in robot mode, he looked awesome. When I looked at him, as Peterbilt, he looked awesome. All the Transformers were really quick, and they had different. They gave you the small, $2 figures, $3 figures. I don't remember how much like Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper were. Then you had the bigger ones. You had Megatron, who was an actual gun. Wasn't the greatest robot. Was not the greatest robot. But yeah. But this here, I think world building was a little bit more difficult, but you are actually world building as them in vehicles when you look at it. It sucks that they could never, until now, do a couple crossovers with G.I. Joe. I think we all wanted that. But you didn't have figures that were going to be able to fit in here. But I love this line. It did so much, hours and hours of play. And then there's the GoBots. And I know a lot of people will rag on the GoBots. I will at times. But I always liked. Here's what's kind of crazy. GoBots tried doing these bigger ones later on, and they were just trying to be Transformers at that point. And they were trash. But Leader 1, Sidekill, I couldn't name any of the other ones. They were awesome. It sucked that they always shot lasers out of their fists. I can never understand that. But the GoBots song is ingrained in your head as much as the Transformers one. Whether you think so or not. If I started singing the GoBots theme song, you guys would all be going to sleep singing the GoBots. You guys probably are already right now. If I would never think very few people would ever say this was the greatest line or their favorite line. But there are probably a lot of people that didn't have a lot of money. Their parents didn't have a lot of money, and this is what they were able to get. They would probably get this and like Bumblebee and stuff. Cliff Jumper, but they would all mix in. Because you try taking Leader 1, you really couldn't have him with Optimus Prime. Like, hey, how are you the leader? But they were so much fun. It was a cool little jet. It transformed quickly. Sidekill, if you did not lose his wheels, he was super cool. The Transformers, listen, let me tell you something. The Transformers were on Sunday when I had to go to church. And now, my dad is a Catholic, and he made us go. My mom was Lutheran and she didn't go to church. And man, I tried sleeping in. I wanted to be Lutheran because you couldn't really record it. It wasn't that easy. So I missed so many Transformers episodes so I was older because it was always on while I was at church. Thanks for bringing back that painful memory. We got Masters of the Universe. This is more world building. From Snake Mountain and obviously Castle Grayskull, which had so much stuff in it. So much fun. I had a lot of He-Man figures. I don't believe I had any vehicles of theirs. I don't believe I had any vehicles. I had a lot of figures. I have no idea what happened to them. I never had Castle Grayskull, but I had a friend, he would. Yeah, you were going to change your religion so you can watch Transformers. That's an awesome story. Listen, Well, considering I don't practice Catholicism and haven't really ever, it wasn't that bad. Like, it was okay. But my dad would never let me sleep in. Like, there may have been once or twice that I can remember that he just gave up. Like, whatever. Fine, I'm not going to. He always made us go. Not only did he make us go, we always had to sit in the first pew. So we had to get there early. All my poor friends had the GoBots. Listen, I wasn't poor and I had GoBots. Well, I take it back. We didn't have a lot of money. Yeah, I was very spoiled. But I had GoBots. The thing about what's funny about the GoBots and Transformers is that you never were like, oh yeah, they're the same. Like, if anyone ever came over and said, oh yeah, GoBots are the same as Transformers, you were like, no. Even me being real short, I was looking down at you like, no, they're not the same. That Leader 1 is nothing compared to this Optimus Prime. But MOTU did so much, and they were able to pump out so many figures. And if you have not watched on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us, this is they're all interesting. This is an amazing one because when you find out how much money they were making, and then in 1 year, it just crashed. It hit rock bottom, and damn, like, it's crazy that they just could not. All because they tried to make them a girl's toy. You hear that, Allison? They tried to make him a girl's toy, and they killed MOTU. We were not poor, and we were GoBot kids. It was always cooler to get 4 GoBots instead of 1 Transformer. You see, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I can distinctly remember going to Toys R Us, and G.I. Joe figures were $263, $269, and I can specifically remember my dad pointing to the Star Wars and going, they were all $1, whole end cap. And my dad saying, you can get three, three Star Wars figures or 1 G.I. Joe, and I was like, I want 1 G.I. Joe. Now I look back and go, Dad, why didn't you buy all those Star Wars and just leave them on card? Because we never have to worry again. But again, this was great for world building. I love the origins. Obviously, you see the videos. I know not everyone does. These were figures you could smash. You didn't have to worry about them really breaking. Eventually, their arms wouldn't stay on, or they'd just be loose and they would just fall down. But every figure in the 80s was that way. So again, I know that if I talk to a different crowd, this one may crush G.I. Joe. I think G.I. Joe is always going to be right up there, but my crowd is pretty G.I. Joe eccentric. You have the Thundercats. I don't think these were great figures. I know I had a bunch of them. I know I had Panthro because I love the nunchucks. They had a little action. But the cartoon was awesome. I love the cartoons. It was just awesome. I mean, just so much stuff that they could do. I look back at these and I think they look absolutely awful. I think they just look so bad. And I never thought that when I was younger. But I look at these now. And I don't remember a lot of. I mean, I know there was some world building because you could buy the Thunder Tank and you could buy the lair. I don't remember anyone that ever had the lair, the cat's lair. So there's a lot of stuff that you could do, but again, as kids, this was something that like after the first core characters, no one really seemed to care. Where MOTU, it was like you always wanted another figure. Rocks kill all toilets. So do firecrackers. Allison wants to say the pop killed MOTU theory is skewed numbers. What killed MOTU was you couldn't find He-Man and Skeletor in OG form, Teela, Man-at-Arms, etc. But they had like 7 rock people that nobody wanted. Not according to Geek Dead Live. They seem to like all that stuff. um, no, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. Okay, Super 7 Ultimates line is good. I almost have the first wave in my... Okay. You obviously didn't watch my videos because this guy right over here, Tigra, is the whole reason why I fucking hate Super 7. You want to find a video that people seem to really enjoy and find it funny to watch me get angry, go ahead and watch that. And then you watch the Chitara one. You probably hear the same anger. It's not as bad. The Tiger is probably the reason why I do the videos the way that I do them now. Just so you know. So, I'm glad that you enjoy them, Road Pig. I fucking hate them. But I think this was a good line, but I don't think anyone's really going to say that it's one of the greatest. I'm doing the Silverhawks because, once again, Super 7 is doing them. But again, I don't know. I don't remember too much about them. I don't think I know I played with them. They were glossy. I remember the cartoon to a point, but yeah. Not a big fan, but again, it was a show that people seem to enjoy. Let's see here. Cobra Commander says, my tiger won't stand either without a piece of paper wedge in the back. Yeah, listen, I don't... And I do want to mention this. Matthew says, yes, join us Thursday, 6-1. Is it 6-1? I haven't even done thing for it yet. Probably should do that. We're going to talk Big Trouble in Little China. I think we're getting close to the 3-hour mark. So, but yeah, again, I'm not a huge fan of the Silverhawks. I know Dan Larson did a video recently about it and why it failed. So go watch that. This one here. Now this line here, mask, this is one that I really wish I could have put on. And this is another line that you ask, and you wonder, like, why has this not come back? The one thing that Mask did that was different was they made bigger vehicles, like the semi here. I don't know their names, so I'm not even going to try and act like you know them. But they were smaller than what a G.I. Joe would be, because they did smaller figures. Now, their figures only had, 5 points of articulation? But when they're that small, it's not that big of a deal, because really, the vehicle and the transforming aspect was really what it was. So imagine you're taking Mask, and you're kind of doing a Transformer thing, but with actual people. And I think you could do not even a 1/18 scale, but continue to do the same scale here. But you could give these figures more articulation now than obviously what they had back then, because toys are made better. I think this line was so good. Boulder Hill, again, it did have world building. And in all honesty, when you have anything in scale like this, you have world building in your living room, in your house, where you're just, driving around the back of your, underneath your kitchen table, through your back, behind your couch and everything. So again, this was world building, not at its best, because again, I don't think you can get better world building than G.I. Joe, just because of everything that it had. How it has a 7.5-foot aircraft carrier. I don't know if you know that. But I love Mask, and I had to throw Mask in here. Again, you're talking about toys of the 80s, best toys, and again, I might miss some. And if you see me miss any, like I said, I didn't put Lego in here. Now, this was brought up earlier. I don't know how many people remember Jason and World Warriors. This was taking modular to a whole new level before we even knew what being able to pop and swap was. Now I should put 3 pictures in here because I would not have remembered what the box looked like. But When you see this, and you could interchange all these parts. The wheels were interchangeable. The guns were interchangeable. These clamps on the top. And the whole premise of this, and it had a TV series, was they were fighting these organic like vehicles that you see here. Like these were organic vehicles. It was so cool. Way better than what G.I. Joe fighting all the people in Cobra Law. Roadpig says the figure and mask are so minuscule, not great painting. Plus, the articulation sucks. At least Ramen Toys is making them better. Well, again, you gotta think this is the 80s, so you have to be able to take yourself out of what you were able to do or willing to do in the 80s to now. Again, that's what made, in my opinion, G.I. Joe so wonderful, is that you took that 1/18 scale where Star Wars was dominating with 5 points of articulation, and you gave more articulation. And when you realize that, you know what, they need to be able to hold their weapons, you gave them the ability to do the swivel arm battle grip and then make them look down. So I understand what you're saying. But the figures were not what was so impressive about Mask. It was the vehicles, that they were essentially Transformers, but they just changed from the vehicle to a fighting vehicle that you were in. We all imagined, like, hey, what would it be like to see Spike in a Transformer? But he would have been too small. What about Battle Beast? I don't know what Battle Beast is. I might be missing something. But this is Jason in Real War. I love this, and I racked my brain trying to remember this a while back. So whoever brought up Jason and the Real Warriors, it was right at the beginning. I told you. Now I don't even remember the Teenage Mutant. I don't even remember TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, in the 80s, but they were there. I had to go back and like, were they really out in the 80s? As big and popular as they are, I'm like, I don't remember them in the 80s. I know I never had one. I know, again, at the end of the 80s, I was really getting out of toys. It was all about skateboarding and that type of stuff, but I still did collect some G.I. Joe. But I had to throw this in here because of how popular they are. And I want to say this would have been right at the end of the 80s. So I really couldn't say that they're... Okay, so perfect. So it makes sense why I didn't know. He said they started in 89. So it kind of goes to the same thing when people say, well, when Star Wars was dying, in the early 80s, I guess, Jedi did come out in 83, and they were around through 83 and 84. They probably started dying in 85, but that first 5 years, they were huge. So just because they didn't make it the whole way, their presence was so big. Let's see. How do you not know Battle Beast? 3POA, Animal Monsters, holographic emblems, rock, paper, scissors, wood fire. You know what? Maybe if I saw one, I don't know, dude. Like, don't I know enough to impress you guys? I'm gonna look it up. I'm googling it right now. All right. Yeah, okay, they're not ringing a bell. They do not ring a single bell. We'll get back to this in 1 second here. So Turtles really didn't do, again, in 89, though they did do a lot of world building. Now, I remember these. I really do. I do remember these. I didn't play with them a lot, but I did have a bunch of them. or other people. I actually I didn't have many. If I had any, maybe Batman, Superman. Other people did, so I did play with them. So that's why I mean I like to cover them because I know a lot of people do like them, but they they really didn't do anything for me when I look back um, at my childhood. You play with them a lot. I guess I wasn't really. I love Super Friends, but I didn't play with them. So I know there was some world building, but again, like, why did Superman need a plane? It's little things like that. So again, I just wanted to have a topic, um, and right now we're gonna let's see if I can start finally bringing some if I can pipe in some other things here, since I always have issues when I try and share screens and different things like that. So hold on one second. We're gonna try and share a screen. Select the screen. Are there any other toys that you can think of from the 80s? So here's the Battle Beasts. Okay. I don't know. This nothing rings a bell. There is not a single thing that rings a bell with any of these. Like just looking at these, I don't even know what the hell. I have no idea. Am I crazy not to like know? Like you guys stumped me, man. Like I don't. They do nothing for me. Like I don't. Wow. I mean, I would put Stompers ahead of Handsome Head Injury. Wow, why is this thing? Oh, you know what? Okay. All right. So, do you remember Battle? Do you remember Battle Beast? Because I don't at all. What about? Now I love these Stomper toys. Do you guys remember Stompers? So these were so much fun for me, and I remember like, uh, um, uh, you get like mini Stompers at times from McDonald's, but they floated. They had these big wheels. You get some that didn't like they take one AA battery and they would climb. But you get these little ones from McDonald's that didn't take batteries, but they always floated. And the condos that I lived in, they had a big giant pool, but they had gutters. And man, you put them in there and you kind of race or you just let them follow. And, you're a kid, so you're just following, the Stompers. I kind of remember penny cars, but what about... Do you guys remember key car toys? I had a bunch. Ooh, muscle figures. Yes, muscle figures. Yes, I had lots of muscle figures. Do you guys remember the key cars? Look at the 18 band. Look at that. These were awesome. They eventually stopped working. They stopped working. But these were always fun because you'd race against your friends or yourself. You'd hit two of them. You know what? I didn't even know what sectars were. I didn't even know what sectors were. I have one up there. I thought it was actually a Star Trek figure. I didn't put Star Trek in here because I don't think anyone ever played with Star Trek figures. I don't think. I don't think I've ever played with Star Trek figures. Yeah, Handsome Head. Yeah. Come on. See, it moves slower once I get this. I think I gotta figure out a new. Um, yeah, if you collected all the different Happy Meal packages, you can make a cardboard racetrack. Oh, really? I don't remember that. But like I said, we would go over and we'd play with it at the pool where I live. So it was always fun. Always fun. So anyway, why is nothing showing up? You know, I hate this. I bring this up here and... All right, you know what? We're going to remove this. It's making me mad. I didn't even know who the hell Voltron was. I mean, I think about it. I knew who Voltron was. I didn't play with it. I didn't watch the cartoon or anything like that. Do you guys remember the big... Let's see if I can find the... these were big cars. I hate that. I don't know why I thought that would work. As soon as I bring stuff on here, it starts slowing down like crazy. Do you remember the big... I want to see if I can... Is that... I don't know if that's it or not. Everything moves slow when I try and add to the stream. You remember the big Dukes of Hazzard cars? They had, and they were like, boom, giant, right? And they had like the you get the police car. They were just huge, and you could crash them, and it was awesome. And you just shot them. Yeah, they were like Tonka trucks. But yeah, I don't think this is it though. That might be. It's been a long time, but it would easily fit 6-inch figures. Probably better. Maybe this is it right here. No, they were just huge. They were just gigantic, and you could do all kinds of different things with them. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, we are almost at the 3-hour mark, and see, this is what happens. Okay, so this, you know what? Okay, so yeah, so this is what happens. New people start showing up here, and I gotta keep talking. Laser tag and photon. I don't remember Zappit. I remember photon actually was better than laser tag, but everyone had laser tag. And let's see, Bill, like, hey, so nice to see you guys. Like, hey, I feel like we just got to jump off some people out of nowhere, which is awesome. Get rid of this here. Yeah, I know. I look back at Voltron. I think it was awesome, but again, I didn't collect it. I didn't play with that at all. I didn't even mention LGN wrestlers. I didn't really have many. We were at. So I was at Sergeant Red's, the toy store, and they had one, and it was with my daughter. I was like, these were weapons. Like that was literally a weapon. If anyone ever broke in the house, you just chuck your LJN figures at them. Those things were weapons, right? Hold on here. I like this here. If it comes up, everything decided to slow down. Go figure, right? At the end of the stream. So I had the Dukes of Hazzard pedal car that I ride off our deck. That is awesome. Like, dude, like, you ever wonder how some of us survived our childhood? You just start looking at some stuff and you're like, damn it, man. Like, we really should not be here. I this goes back to where I lived. That um, I I didn't really know NWA all that well. I was pure WWF. Um, there was no doubt about that. We always didn't have cable. We didn't always have cable, so I didn't even know there was anything other than the WWF. When Ric Flair came over, I didn't really know who it was. So those NWA things, I really don't know about. But I mean, I kind of know about them. Um, all right, quickly, I'm going to drop another link. If you're interested in any merchandise, I am working on having a few other things. So again, everything helps to support the channel. See this again, man. Like new people like show up here, and now I'm like, I should keep talking. Let's see. Handsome Head Injury says, "Oh man, only wrestler I had was the giant size Roddy Piper. I had a couple, but I couldn't tell you which ones they were, or maybe I'm just thinking of other friends that just kind of had them. I know I played with them, but those things were like they were like a soft plastic. By soft, I mean they didn't pretty much shatter your hands when they hit. You were just going to be in pain. But like I said, those things were were pretty bad. Yes, the Enertech. Enertech was amazing. I had this small submachine gun. Another friend of mine had the big M16 that had the big tank on it. I remember they shot up to 30 feet. That's what their big thing was. And technically they might shoot 30 feet, but they were on the downside. And eventually you just played with them as regular guns. You ran around the woods playing with them. The M16 I always wanted, I didn't have. I had this AK-47. It wasn't a squirt gun, but it made this amazing. Everyone probably remembers having an AK-47, but I had one that was battery operated, 9-volt battery, and it made a perfect sound from Red Dawn. Like it sounded like the AK-47s, and that's what I remember, man. Just running around, and I ended up breaking it because some kid got mad that I always had to use the because everyone would come over to use my guns because I had all of them. And I got mad. Some kid got mad because I was imitating him, and I threw my gun down, and I broke the stock a little bit. I was so mad at myself. But there was a kid that got mad that they would come over and use my guns, and he was mad at me because I always picked my AK-47 and wouldn't let anyone else use it. And I look back at it like someone should have punched you in the face for being mad that I used my own gun. I'm letting you use all my other guns. I literally had a whole arsenal. I didn't even think to put in any of the. I didn't even think to put in any guns. The old Uzi cap guns and everything. Those are so much fun. Like so much fun. Like honestly, man, I think about so much of stuff. Anyway, it is after midnight here in Detroit, so I definitely have to get out of here, or else I will continue to talk. And it's crazy because there are some people that have been here the whole time, and I appreciate it. There are some people that are just strolling in, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the people that were here at the beginning and in the middle. I appreciate all the people and the support that you guys gave me today and the love. I promise you, all those super chats will definitely go to doing what I talked about, and everything goes back into supporting the channel, no matter what you do. So, if you have, if you join if you're a channel member, again, I do have two different channel memberships. One 99 cents to support the channel, and then $2.99. I'm going to be dropping different videos. Like I said, the 3-hour tour. You know what? I still got 33 people. I want to bring something up. And I think I'm going to do this, but not positive yet. So I'm going to throw this out. You guys can send me an email at punkwithtoys@gmail.com or hit me up anywhere else, any of the social medias. But every other Thursday, we do Punks on Film where we talk about an old movie. That's again, you guys are enablers. You guys are enablers. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is on the opposite Thursday, so it'd be every other Thursday, is doing it wouldn't always be live. It could be recorded, but I was thinking about doing a show with someone where it would be interviewing someone, getting to know someone. But again, yes, Allison, can't stop, won't stop. That's yeah. What's another hour? That's another hour of sleep that I won't have. So I came up with my idea is, and I'm throwing this out there. And what I kind of want to do is on those opposite days, those opposite weeks, probably 10 o'clock to 12, is have a chat with someone, getting to know them. But everyone, every single toy YouTuber, they get other people on, and they get, they want to get Bobby Bala on, they want to get Ace on, they want to get the guy from Super 7. They want to get, Ryan Dole on, other big YouTubers. I really want to, I want to interview, and it's not really an interview as much as a chat. I want to bring on someone for like 2 hours that's in the chat here. Someone that's helped grow this community. So, because I know people want to know who Allison is. People want to know who, Tony Romo is, Mr. Wonderful. If you're willing to get on camera and talk, and I just really want to go have a chat where we talk about get a rough idea of how old they are, what brought them into toys, what is it that they do, different things like that. Payne is doing something where he's talking about what toys mean to them. I don't want to imitate that. As a matter of fact, I thought about this even before he started doing his show. But it's more or less just getting to know someone, kind of where they come from. But I want it to be people that are actually in the chat here. Because, again, I don't want to go out and get, I'm going to interview Dan Larson. Well, that's great, but you can find an interview with Dan Larson anywhere. Or Bobby Valla. Hey, he's been interviewed all over the place. I want our community to grow, to get to know each other, more than getting to know Ace from Ramen Toys. So anyway, this is an idea that I'm kind of, I've been thinking about it for quite some time. One of my biggest issues, and I'm not going to lie, is that I've articulated Chad this numerous times. He does such a wonderful job of interviewing people. He makes it seem like it's not an interview. It's conversation. And I've listened to Jim Rome. If you watch sports, you know about Jim Rome. He always says the best interviews are conversations, and that's what I want to have. So again, it's something I'm going to throw out there. I'm probably going to do it. Probably shouldn't want to do it right as summer is starting. But again, I need to be committed. It goes back to earlier when I said, hey, you know what? Consistency means everything. And Ted was like, hey, you know what? You're allowed to take a day off. I agree. But I want to be committed if I'm going to do something like this, because that's how you grow your channel, grow the people that are listening. So anyway, it's something that's out there, something that I'm probably going to do. And when I do, I'm going to be reaching out. But let's say it's someone like Frostbite. He's in Australia. Our times may not match up. And if he wants to do it, we can do a pre-recorded one. Or Palpatine. I know he is literally 12 hours opposite, I believe, of me. And again, I don't, and everyone may not want to be on film. I noticed with a lot of the YouTubers that you guys are doing, Oz and stuff, like a lot of the people in your chat are other content creators, which is great. I've noticed that a lot of the guys that I have on here are not just the content creators. There's, like no one really knows who Palpatine is. I know him. I chat with him. Johnny Reno, I've never seen you anywhere. I'm not saying you haven't been, but so I want to get to know and get everyone to know people. And again, if you want to be, not everyone wants to be on this idiot box. So that's me rambling on for an extra 10 minutes. That just an idea that I'm throwing out there. If I see another toy YouTuber, jump on and take it. But again, I don't want to just bring on again, my purpose is not to bring on just people that are in the industry or other YouTubers. I want to bring on people that are in the chat. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. If I don't actually do it, I won't. So anyway, I should have the Destro Mezco coming within the next day or two. No, Allison, I am going to stop. All right. You know what? Look, we dropped below 30 viewers. Everyone hit that like button on the way out here. Allison, did we hit 75 likes? Or do I not have to buy the Jada toy? Because you gave the 75 likes. So I need to know how many likes we have right now, or else I don't have to buy it. And I get to pocket all the money that you guys all graciously donated to me. All right, guys. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful night. I will see you guys next Monday. And let's be honest, you're going to see me in some other chats, I'm sure. Take care, guys.